transferred to Lycée Gaston Berger in Kaolack, Senegal. And while there, he passed Gloria and attended Cheikh Anta Diop University in Dakar. Unfortunately, however, Deda was unable to complete his course at the university due to inability to pay his tuition fees. He eventually abandoned the course to return to the Gambia. Shortly after his return to the Gambia, he picked up a job with the newly set up Radio Seed, first as a DJ, later rising to a station manager. Also would be called his melodious voice, the morning show, Rencontre, and Disc Agogo. Of course, Papsen also had his popular Pakusan at Papsen program. Those programs were very popular, both in the Gambia and across the border in Senegal. While Deda and Papsen were at Radio Seed, they were also cognizant of the need to help organize the few journalists that were practicing in this country. They, together with 4 other veteran journalists, came together in November 1978 to form what is today the Gambia Press Union. Of course, prior to the founding of the GPU, there had also existed the Gambia Journalists Association, but it was virtually dormant, and they saw the need to bring together Gambian journalists into a more active body, hence the decision to set up the Gambia Press Union. Since then, Deda had played a very active part in the very survival of the JPU up to the very last day of his life. As a first-hand witness, I would dare say that Deda contributed quite significantly to the survival of the JPU. Those of us who were there from the very beginning can attest to the financial problems that the JPU always encountered during the period. And when even a meeting place was a problem. And it was thanks to people like Deda who did not hesitate to use their time and resources to ensure the survival of the union. We used to meet at the BCC hall, but most of the time we could not get access to the hall whenever we came for meetings. It was then that he offered to host our meetings at the Point newspaper. Through his personal efforts, he secured funding from the US Embassy to rent an office for the GPU. Without Deda's timely intervention, I cannot imagine how the GPU could have survived that period of turbulence. There were also some occasions when Deda would use his own money to either represent the GPU or sponsor other members to represent the GPU abroad. While at Radio Seed, Deda was also correspondent for the French news agency AFP. He also later became representative of Reporters Sans Frontières. When he and Papsen finally left Radio Seed, they set up Escap Printing, which later metamorphosed into the Point newspaper, which incidentally was founded on 16 December 1991. So I will use this opportunity to say happy birthday to the Point and to Uncle Papsen, who has just arrived. I've seen him. Deda was also, together with Papsen and Baboucarr Gaye, members of the editorial board of the Senegambia Sun. In addition to journalism, Deda was also quite active in socio-cultural activities such as the Fataleku Cultural Group, the Premier Lions Club, and World View the Gambia. He used to actively participate in all social activities. Deda was also quite active at the sub-regional level. He was a founder member of the West Africa Journalists Association, WAJA, being its first treasurer, as well as the Senegambia Journalists Association, which was set up during the Senegambia Confederation. I can also remember that I traveled with him to South Africa in 2003, where we participated in the founding of the African Editors Forum. Deda was a fearless defender of press freedom, and for which he paid the ultimate price. It is quite certain that his assassination on December 16, 2004, exactly 19 years ago today, by agents of the Jammeh regime, was no doubt meant to silence him. While his cowardly assassins have succeeded in silencing his voice, but his impressive legacy, which includes the GPU, will live forever. Therefore, Deda was an icon of press freedom to whom we Gambian journalists owe quite a lot for the freedom that we all take for granted today. I wish to thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. We are really glad to have you, of course. the name of Demba Ali Jao is not new to anyone. And we are lucky that some of the young journalists still have, this reservoir of knowledge to go to, to learn about our trade. Unfortunately, Daida is not here, but he is here. So I think we can make best use of him. And thank you for reminding us of a great, great fallen hero Famada. It's touching to hear some of the things, Mr. Jao just mentioned about the late Daida Hydra.
Absolutely, Sankule, thank you very much, Mr. Jao. And next, Sankule on the agenda. We'll move on straight to the next item, and that would be, we're just twisting this itinerary a little bit. So we would now move on straight to the presentation of the GPU honorary awards, and I'm sure the GPU staff are all set now to help us with that presentation. And at this juncture, we would now like to go ahead with that presentation, Sankule.
Yes, I think we would like to call on the Secretary General of the Gambia Press Union, and that is Momodu Diouf, to come on stage, to come and help us deliver these GPU honorary awards to two recipients on stage. Mr. Diouf, please welcome on stage.
Special awards by the Gambia Press Union are meant for individuals and institutions who have rendered selfless service to the GPU in promoting and protecting press freedom and freedom of expression in the Gambia. And tonight we have two special awards to deliver to one institution and an individual who have done remarkably very good work in terms of promoting and protecting press freedom and freedom of expression. So the Gambia Press Union is proud to give this award to the European Union delegation to the Gambia for their strong commitment to supporting freedom of the press and the growth of the media industry in the Gambia. In September 2016, the EU approved a grant of 57,000 euros for the GPU, implemented by UNESCO Regional Office in Dakar. And through this project, the Gambia Press Union was able to revise and adjust the curriculum of the GPU School of Journalism to the UNESCO model curriculum for journalism studies in Africa. We were able to sponsor 4 senior level journalists to embark on a postgraduate studies in journalism at the London School of Journalism. And we also rolled out scholarships programs for 30 students at the GPU School of Journalism, which is now referred to as the Media Academy for Journalism and Communications. Through that project, we were also able to sponsor the teaching of courses at certificate, diploma, and advanced diploma levels at the School of Journalism. And we were able to sign a memorandum of understanding with the University of the Gambia, where students from the GPU School of Journalism can transit to the university. And we were also able to conduct a total of 15 days of training on topics like web design, English language for journalists, and multimedia production. But before this, back in 2011, the GPU benefited from EU funding to build the capacity of journalists on the international standards of freedom of expression and the safety of journalists. That project was co-implemented with Article 19 West Africa under the Non-State Actors Strengthening Program. During the dictatorship, the EU was very instrumental in pushing for the respect for human rights, the rule of law, press freedom, and freedom of expression, and at some point, cutting budget support to the Gambia government over gross human rights violations. At the time, the EU also engaged the former Yahya Jammeh-led government through the ACP EU political dialogues under Article 8 of the Cotonou Agreement. Through this platform, the European Union proposed a 17-point reform plan for the Gambia government to adopt, including the revision of laws on freedom of expression, allowing the free operation of the independent media, and the revision of the criminal code that allow for the prosecution on the charges of sedition, libel, and false publication. The EU's ongoing work to protect journalists' rights has played a key role in creating a lively and responsible media scene in the Gambia, and a key part of their support in consolidation of democratic dispensation in the Gambia, the Court Project. This project will
greatly improved the abilities of the Gambia Press Union, especially in making the media a more active in democratic processes. Through the Code project, the EU will help train journalists on media ethics and share a code of conduct on ethical journalism, setting a benchmark for journalistic integrity. The EU's work in the Code project also includes training on important topics like the inclusion of women in journalism, reporting carefully on conflicts, and legal awareness for journalists. These training sessions are essential in preparing our members to work in complex media settings. Furthermore, the EU's efforts in addressing issues like sexual harassment in the media demonstrate their commitment to creating a safer and more inclusive working environment for media professionals. Their efforts to build skills for the Media Council of the Gambia, which is a self-regulatory body established by the Gambia Press Union, improve our operations at the Gambia Press Union, especially in media monitoring, shows the EU's wide-ranging approach to developing the Gambian media. We are very thankful for the European Union partnership and ongoing support in creating a media environment in the Gambia that is open, fair, and follows good practices, good ethical practices, which is vital for our democracy to thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage the EU Head of Cooperation, Ms. Enrica Pelacani, to receive the GPU's 2023 Hero of Press Freedom Award on behalf of the delegation of the European Union to the Gambia. I would call on the GPU President Mohamed Elba to present this award. On to the second special award. She's a journalist, an ardent defender of media freedom, free expression and opinion, a former president of the Gambia Press Union, also a former Secretary General of the Gambia Press Union. Throughout her journalism career, which started when she was a cub reporter at the Daily Observer in 1998, she has demonstrated a strong belief that a free and independent press is a vital element in any democracy, as it is a tool which enables citizens to hold their leaders to account and that it promotes socio-economic development. In her daily Women in Development from 1998 to 2000, she amplified women's voices and concerns to highlight institutional and systematic failures that prevent Gambian women from taking their rightful place in society. Even though she didn't identify as an activist or a human rights defender at the time, she has this innate urge and intrinsic motivation to make women's voices heard and to increase their visibility. As early as June 1998, she learned about the human rights abuses, tortures, arrests, detentions, and deportations that journalists in the Gambia were subjected to, including the deportation of Kenneth Y. Best, who was the founder and proprietor of the Daily Observer newspaper. The arrest of Demba Ali Jawo, who was then news editor of the Daily Observer, and editor-in-chief Baba Gale Jallow, when they were called for questioning by the NIA, the National Intelligence Agency then, and the detention of journalist Giran Senghor for having written an article on the State House wall which collapsed, which she witnessed is an etch on her memory. As assistant editor, columnist, and later editor-in-chief of the Daily Observer from 2004 to 2005, she had the editorial independence and responsibility for the publication of the only daily newspaper in the Gambia at the time, not one for self-censorship. She published articles which generated public interest for their criticism of government or the private sector. Through the dint of hard work and a supportive and enabling environment, she encouraged reporters to write stories as factually as they could, leaving no room for opinion or comment. And with the support of her sub-editor, Malik Mbu, PK Jaju, she started pushing towards investigative stories. The killing of Deda Haidara, the proprietor and managing editor of the Point newspaper, on December 16, 2004, was the watershed moment of her career and brought her to the stark reality that speaking the truth is no panacea against persecution. Other journalists in and outside the country, like Deda Haidara, lost their lives for standing up and speaking the truth to power. Her stance on the death of Deda Haidara, who was an uncle, a mentor, and a role model, in spite of the friendly rivalry between the newspaper and the Daily Observer, led to a sequence of events that changed her life completely. She was suspended and eventually sacked from the Daily Observer for actions taken to seek answers for his assassination. This also led to her quick ascension within the Gambia Press Union. From 2005 to 2009, she was at the head of national and local activities to celebrate World Press Freedom Day, refusing categorically any participation outside the Gambia to ensure that the day was celebrated in grand style, yet not missing out on the solemnness of the event and using the assassination of Deda Haidara as a focus of the event. As an exiled journalist from 2009 to 2016, but also an employee of the West Africa Journalists Association, WAJA, she ensured that all her energies were focused on organizing activities related to the safety of journalists in Africa. This was done in collaboration with key partners like her Malian host, the National Union of Journalists, and the Maison de la Presse in Mali. Other regional organizations like the Federation of African Journalists, of which she was elected as the first treasurer of the executive committee in 2008, and went on to serve another 3-year term. The African Editors Forum, for which Deda Haidara was a founding member, and the International Federation of Journalists. At such occasions, she always put the plight of Gambian journalists and the state of the She also participated in high-level panels in New York, Addis Ababa, Johannesburg, Abuja, focusing on the safety of journalists in Africa. This was particularly difficult as exile was in terms of freedom of movement and having to make choices on where to go for safety reasons, and also sometimes the inability to access travel documents. In 2009, her colleagues, the GPU-6, which included the then GPU Secretary General Bayemin Toure, Vice President Sarata Jabi Diba, and Treasurer Pamadou Fall, the late, and also Samsar, the editor of the Fourier newspaper, and the Point newspaper's managing editor, and its editor, Ibrahim Sawane, were charged with sedition and criminal defamation of the president for a letter she wrote to President Jammeh over distasteful remarks he made on national television about the murdered Deda Haidara. At the time of her detention, Sarata was the breastfeeding mom of an 8-month-old baby, Muhammad. She was not in the country at the time she wrote Piyahe Jammeh. When she expressed her desire to come back home, she was advised against this by legal luminaries who were her associates. They convinced her that she could play a more important role outside the country campaigning for the release of her colleagues. This paid dividends, for she was able to mobilize significant regional, continental, and international support from Amnesty International, Article 19, the Media Foundation for West Africa, the Open Society for West Africa, and others to highlight the precarious state of press freedom in the Gambia, to the ECOWAS Commission, the African Commission, and various entities working in and interested in press freedom in the Gambia. During that period, she was the face of the campaign for media freedom in the Gambia. This incident led to her exile from 2009 to 2017. Inconvenient as exile was for most, she is grateful that it has opened doors of opportunity for her in various ways, leading to a fulfilled career, including enhancing her public speaking capacity, acquisition of a second language, networking with high-level institutions and influential people in media, human rights, and governance sectors. In exile, she joined the Coalition for Change, the Gambia, set up by Dr. Amadou Scarlett Jane, Matthew Jallo, and Famara Dampa, and others. The organization sought to bring an end to the entrenched dictatorship in the Gambia at the time. Not surprisingly, the CCG, as it was called then, ended up in conflict with the government. Scarlett was arrested and charged with treason for having printed T-shirts with the slogan, "End Dictatorship Now," in May 2011. She, with Matthew Jallo and Famara Dampa, were also charged alongside Dr. Jane with treason. Instead of silencing her, the charges increased her determination to stand up and speak up for human rights, especially freedom of expression. And together with Banka Mane, Matthew Jallo, and others, they formed another coalition of diaspora civil society organizations known as the Civil Society Association Gambia. Post-Jame, she was able to come home to the Gambia as a special advisor to the then Minister of Information, Demba Ali Jawo, on media-related matters with a specific focus on reforms from 2017 to 2018, with support from Article 19. During this period, the numerous changes that were made enhanced the Ministry of Information then the position to catapult the Gambia from 146.5 or 145th position in 2016, which was the final year of the Yahya Jammeh tyranny, to 46 in 2023 in terms of press freedom ranking. This development is slightly hinged on the Ministry of Information vision and mission at the time, to opening the space for the media, encouraging tolerance towards divergent views, including in the national broadcaster, granting the first private TV license and a few other licenses within the first year of the transition, and the explosion of private radio networks, regular press briefings, and convivial meetings with the press and other communication actors. She could not have come this far without the unconditional support of her family, friends, and particularly elders in the media, fraternity in the Gambia. People like Cheno Jallo, Mr. Swaibu Konade, the late, Samsar, Deda Haidara, Papsen, Demba Ali Jawo, Baba Gale Jallo, and Serif Bojang, the provider of the Standard newspaper, for appointing her as editor-in-chief of the Daily Observer immediately after she graduated with a master's degree back in 2004. As the award ceremony coincides with the funeral of lawyer Anthony Akoto Ampao, who lived from April 1950 to 28th October 2023, who was a staunch supporter to her during her legal battles. His funeral is taking place in Accra today, where she has gone to attend, being the reason she couldn't come here to receive this award. And also that this particular special award coincided with the killing of Deda Haidara 19 years ago. She has decided to dedicate this award to the Ghanaian lawyer and Mr. Deda Haidara. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for the GPU's 2023 Press Freedom Hero, Ms. Neitafa Sose. This award will be received on her behalf by Mr. Demba Ali Jawo, who is a former president of the Gambia Press Union and also Information Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary General. Thank you very much. Congratulations to the EU and Ms. Neitafa Sose. Well-deserved awards.
Indeed, well-deserved awards, particularly for the EU as well. Like the SG said, the EU has really been a strong supporter of the Gambia Press Union. In fact, my gut feeling tells me, Fatma, that next year they will sponsor an award or awards, God willing. Thank you very much, EBEU, for your support to the Gambia Press Union as well as Data of our source, of course. You want to say one or two words, sir?
Okay. On behalf of Native Associate, I wish to thank the Gambia Press Union for recognizing her efforts. She has definitely played a very, very significant role, in maintaining press freedom in this country. And she has done it under quite a lot of pressure because, according to what we've heard from the Secretary General of the GPU, she has definitely suffered quite a lot, in exile, just to get the problems that the Gambia had been encountering, particularly journalists in this country, for the international community to know about it. So, I mean, Ndeye Tafa was also the president of the Gambia Peace Union for a period. And we would all agree that definitely her tenure in office was very, very fruitful for the GPU and for press freedom in this country. So on behalf of Ndeye Tafa, I say a big thank you to the GPU for recognizing her efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you so much. And at this point, I would now like to recognize the presence of the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. C.D.S. Kinjai, the Lord Mayor of Banjul, Rahim Malik Low, and Mr. Pap Sen, co-publisher of the Point newspaper. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening. Sankole, what's the next item?
Yes, next on the agenda, I will have a speech by no other than our own very president, and that is the president of the Gambia Press Union, Mohammed Esba. Welcome on stage, Mohammed Esba.
Good evening, Mr. and Madam Chair, with the nice outfit, and my brother as well. Good evening, Chair, panel, Honorable Sidin Jai, and honorable members, Honorable Ba and Honorable Jai, my brothers. The Minister of Information, with John, the Lord Mayor of Banjul, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, sponsors of the National Journalism Awards 2023, development partners, journalists, Uncle Pap Sen, Uncle Samsar, and other comrades who are here, senior comrades. And also, I would like to recognize the presence of the chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, and Uncle D.A. as well, and my beautiful wife, Lady MS, the media, all award finalists and their guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to you all. As the president of the Gambia Press Union, I am honored to address this important occasion for marking the 8th edition of the Gambia National Journalism Awards under the theme, Breaking from the Past, Safeguarding the Principles of Press Freedom and Freedom of Expression. This year's event holds particular significance as it coincides with the commemoration of the late Deda Haidara's tragic assassination 19 years ago. Mr. Haidara dedicated his life to speak truth to power, advocating for a just society, embodying the values we hold dear in journalism. We acknowledge the progress made in press freedom and freedom of expression over the years, and we commend the government for the gains made, including the enactment of the Access to Information Law in 2021. It is heartening to note the collaborative efforts between the government, the Ministry of Information, the Gambia Press Union, and civil society to ensure the law's full implementation through the establishment of the Information Commission in early 2024. This development stems from the recommendations of the Key Stakeholder Consultative Forum initiated by the Ministry of Information. We commend the National Assembly for its open door policy and close collaboration with the media, as well as the Ministry of Information. We call for replication of such collaboration across all public sectors, fostering transparency and accountability. We also welcome plans to repeal parts of the media laws and the criminal code that restricts press freedom when the new criminal offences bill, which seeks to repeal the former, becomes law. This year's theme was carefully chosen to reflect our inability
as a country to fully break from brutal past that was characterized by numerous attacks on journalists and media houses. That includes killings, torture, physical assaults, arbitrary arrests, and detention, and bad laws that severely restrict press freedom. We acknowledge that the press freedom situation has significantly improved, are no longer killed or tortured or tried under the draconian media laws, and the country's freedom index improving year on year. Madam Chair, however, a number of practices that enabled every dark chapter in Gambian media history have been resurfacing, manifested by by some other actors. A recent alarming statement from senior political leaders, including the President of the Republic of the Gambia, against the media and civil rights advocates, that could largely affect press freedom and freedom of expression. There has also been arbitrary arrest and detention without charge or trial against journalists, media workers, and civil rights advocates, and the seizing of their mobile phones, and an instance and accessing also information, accessing their accessories, that is the mobile phone, by state security apparatus. We have also witnessed physical attacks on journalists, mainly by police and political party activists from both the ruling and opposition parties, for which no one is held to account till date. Despite the fact that some of these cases are reported to the police, not a single investigation into these cases concluded, and no one has ever been prosecuted. These practices remain a grave concern, and the failure of the state to bring perpetrators of crime against Gambian journalists to justice helped sustain a cycle of violence against journalists for 29 years, covering a period from dictatorship to the post-dictatorship era. While the victims of the grave dictatorship-era crimes against journalists in the form of killings, enforced disappearance, and torture have yet to see justice, we are witnessing in recent times direct threats. This is why we are calling on the Gambia government to speed up reform initiatives that is said to be committed to. By implementing the recommendations of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, by repealing some of the existing media laws that have laid a foundation of structural causes of violence against the media and media workers, and to fulfill the never again in democratic and good governance process, rather than viewing journalists as adversaries. Journalists must be provided with a conducive environment to carry out their duties without fear or hindrance from any quarter, be it the judiciary, the executive, or the legislature. In recent years, the GPU has undertaken a series of media reform initiatives that seek to improve press freedom, freedom of expression, the safety and welfare of journalists, and professionalism. These included working closely with the government to identify and review media laws for reform, a self-regulatory body, a journalism training school, and conducted a series of training for journalists to improve the quality of content and adherence to our journalism ethics, and to promote the observance of journalists' social responsibilities. Despite these efforts, we recognize that there remains a gap in editorial due diligence in some quarters, which we hope to address with more capacity building initiatives and other initiatives that promote ethical journalism. We therefore remind our colleagues to uphold the principles of the trade and to fully Jallow dissemination of accurate, undiluted, and unbiased information. Mr. Chair, on another note, I express our commitment to securing a piece of land from the government for the construction of the Gambia Press Complex. After more than 40 years of existence, the Gambia Press Union is still struggling to get a land of its own to build a press complex that will house the GPU Secretariat. The Media Council of the Gambia, the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication, the GPU affiliates, and a home to more than 600 members of the union. Despite the efforts since 2017, these efforts were renewed in late 2022, and as of July 2023, the GPU completed necessary processes and met all necessary requirements to secure a plot of land from the government through the Ministry of Lands. However, our application is still pending approval. This delayed process of securing a land has cost the GPU about $8 million after a partner decided to withdraw from a funding promise that was tied to the GPU being able to provide proof of land ownership from the government. While we recognize that the decision to grant a plot of land does not lie in the hands of the GPU, we would like to implore on the Ministry of Lands to expedite this process because we have other partners who are ready to support the GPU building project. Mr. Chair, I wish to extend my gratitude to the Awards Committee chairperson for their outstanding work, the GPU board and staff for their unwavering support, and our partners for their continued commitment to the success of the National Journalism Award 2023. We hope for increased partnership next year to celebrate excellence in journalism. A special appreciation goes to the Deda Haidara family and the Point newspaper, Uncle Pasen, for their continued support to the awards year in, year out. We also thank the veteran journalists for their guidance and support to the GPU and its leadership. Let us continue to work together to uphold the principles of press freedom, freedom of expression, and democracy in our beloved nation. God bless our country, the Gambia. Thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for your leadership. We appreciate it. All the chair panel judges, Mr. Famara Fofana on stage to deliver remarks on behalf of the judges committee.
He's quite a gentleman, I must say. What a gentleman. Welcome, sir.
An independent and fair process of reviewing entries for consideration in the awards. In alignment with the terms of reference given to us by the GPU, we have to go through every single entry, word by word, line by line, to ensure that justice is done to every story submitted for our review. And considering that we had more than 150 stories or entries to scour through, the process was not just taking and time-consuming, but one requiring a very delicate balancing act. By virtue of the huge responsibility, we had our professional commitment at our own levels. However, this was one huge responsibility we deeply relished and cherished from the get-go. This is because being accorded the opportunity to sit on the panel of any country's high awards is a privilege and a sacred responsibility or duty anyone would embrace with pride. Of trust and confidence, and for this we are grateful to the leadership of the GPU and of course the entire National Press Corps. Now to the question, how did we go about assessing the entries? What yardsticks were applied to arrive at the decisions we made? From the nominations to the declaration of the winners that will emerge here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Allow me to say that it was both easy and tough. Easy because a journalistic product doesn't need to be advertised by the product owner for anyone to recognize and appreciate how good it is. Ours is an industry where the story is the one that sells itself to the consumer, that is the audience. No journalist needs a highly skilled PR group to do their bidding for them, as long as the key ingredients and the fundamental tenets of the profession are observed in one's reportage. On the other hand, what made the work tough was not the sheer number of the various submissions, but rather the head-scratching decision of having to choose between two or, at most, three very good stories from a particular category. As a jury, our decisions were predicated on the 5 main indicators assigned to us by the Gambia Press Union. These are the newsworthiness and angling of the story, accuracy and factuality, style, grammar and presentation, originality of the report, and 5, public benefit and impact. We know as journalists, public interest comes first and foremost before anything else. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to buttress that each criterion was graded from a scale of 1 to 5, meaning the total and highest score for a given story would be 25. As jury members, every one of us individually rated and slated each entry accessed by us, after which we collated the 17 different categories by way of peer review. Given the guidelines and we had used in our assessment, and more fundamentally, our experiences as former editors coming from the realms of television, radio, print, and of course online, there weren't much variances in the way we approached and graded the stories. Where disparities occurred or in the event of a close call between certain entries, we were engaged in frank and open conversations to reconcile those calls for a final decision to be made. Also, I must underline that in addition to this course, the entries were equally benchmarked against ethical guidelines governing journalistic reporting, particularly migration reporting, reporting on children, gender-based violence, as well as stories dealing with crime, the courts, and elections, as encapsulated in the GPU Code of Conduct. Having taken you through the assessment and scoring process, let me now draw your attention to some takeaways we filtered from this year's entries. It is the jury's verdict that this year's submissions are a huge upgrade on the ones encountered in the recent past. There's no sugarcoating about that. There are significant improvements and boldness in the areas of story ideas or subject matters, as well as the ways the stories have been put across or narrated in case of television stories. One area of commendation is the use of data journalism in this year's entries. There was the use of highly interactive, statistically rich information in multiple stories by a couple of reporters to simplify what might have otherwise been complicated stories. In this age of information overload, the use of quantitative analysis in journalism, particularly in investigative journalism, medical and health reporting, is increasingly exponentially across the world. Figures and numbers are becoming as important as the letters we string together in the newsrooms to tell the story. Gone are the days when journalists would say, mathematics is not an area for us. This is the day of data journalism. The judging panel has also noted with delight huge improvements in the writing style of reporters. Oftentimes, some of us complain that Gambian journalists have not been immersed in the mundane style of he said, she said, she added that, etc. As demonstrated in the entries, more and more journalists are exploring in-depth storytelling and features, allowing the audience to have a deeper understanding of the critical issues being discussed by a reporter. In terms of the award categories, the number of entries submitted under women's reporting was by far the largest, and these were not just stories by female reporters, but their male counterparts as well. This, in our view, points to an important step by the Gambian news organizations in beaming the light on the raft of issues confronting women and their success stories, including efforts to break the glass ceiling thereby drawing the attention of people in charge of policy, and more importantly, helping to break the unequal perpetuation of power, as it is the case in this source. I'm talking about breaking the glass ceiling. I'm happy to report that out of the 14 categories for which nominations have been made, 11 have at least one female journalist shortlisted. That is close to about 80% of the total nominee count. This year too, ladies and gentlemen, a good number of journalists have forayed into areas that haven't gotten the prominence they truly deserve in the past awards. While political beats have become the natural habitat for most of our reporters and editors over the years, migration and people trafficking, security, human rights, as well as children's reporting have taken center stage in this year's awards. These aren't just about the numbers, but the depth and overall quality of these stories are something we consider to be top-notch. Political reporting was in the recent past largely about firefighting or ping-pong between different political heavyweights, and also headlines like mass rallies. There appears to be a paradigm shift this time around. Political entries this year are more issue-focused, with journalists delving into party manifestos, policies, and questions around equal representation and accountability. It must also be noted that this year's entries have done very well when it comes to backgrounders. Reporters haven't just told the story, but a lot of relevant additional information have been provided for at the end of stories, adding not just credibility to the reports, but also context to the issues under investigation by the respective reporters. Ladies and gentlemen, having pointed out the positive side of the entries for this year's National Journalism Awards, it will be a heresy and a moral calling if I, on behalf of the 5-member jury, fail to highlight some of the areas we believe leave a lot to be desired and therefore require improvement. First, we have noted that where a simple, less cumbersome headline will do, some journalists opted for convoluted captions, thereby getting them wrong. Multiple stories with very rich contents are given low scores because of their wrong and confusing headlines. We therefore suggest to reporters and their editors to pay attention to headline rules. Apart from being concise, headlines should convey the very essence of the story in as few words as possible. That is news writing 101. Obviously, double or multiple tag headlines are commonplace these days as they seek to increase the chances of grabbing the attention of readers. It is our contention that creativity should and must not come at the mercy of the rudiments of the trade. Apart from the problem of some reporters being emotionally invested in certain stories, particularly those bordering on abuse, horror, and grief, there is also the small matter of journalists going for very exciting and impactful story ideas, but not being able to do justice to the end product. Therefore, there is the need for a greater improvement in the storytelling capacity of journalists, where it will be the audience to cry or to smile after going through or watching a piece. In the face of these issues, we recommend regular in-house training for editors and sub-editors to enhance their skills and capacity to help journalists produce quality content. Editors must also go beyond mechanical or sentence-level editing, but going the extra mile to offer the sort of coaching that pushes reporters to adopt insightful reporting. For TV entries, image quality has largely been poor. Image, it must be said, is as important as the story being narrated, if not more important. However, in many TV entries where the storylines and voice narrations were attractive, image quality or sequences could have been much better. For those of you wondering why 3 categories, namely travel and tourism, photojournalism, and rural and community radio of the year have no nominations, the answer is that none of the submissions in these 3 were deemed worthy because none of the submissions in these categories were worthy of being shortlisted. The closest under the travel and tourism did not make the grade simply because it leaned more towards migration reporting in view of the documentation crisis around which the story is centered. Perhaps moving forward, the GPU could consider making on the subtle nuances between the hospitality industry and traveling from a literary point of view or from a broader sense. Regarding photojournalism, what we expected as a panel was the use of photography for the purpose of compelling storytelling. But instead of captivating images, the submissions that we came across were television reports provided for by camera operators behind those stories. Admittedly, there was a photograph in the category, but wasn't deemed enough to make the grade. Ladies and gentlemen, this, after all, is the Excellence in Journalism Awards, and as such, we owe it not just to the fraternity, but the country herself in making sure that we do not nominate people just because they have submitted an entry. You don't get solicited if you can't cut the mustard. Ladies and gentlemen, the last category without a nominee is the Community/Rural Radio of the Year. Whether this suggests a submission of an entry by a given radio in provincial Gambia on their behalf by a reporter or a producer, or whether it is supposedly a special recognition celebrating an outstanding performance by a certain community radio over the past year, there was nothing to write home about. In fact, entries that were received under this category were two: one TV story and a sports report, making them irrelevant and ineligible for consideration. We suggest that come next year, the GPU offers much clarity. And in terms of entries that were disqualified, there were about 5. 2 of these were cases of stories submitted under 2 or more categories, while the rest were potentially good entries published in the wrong year, that is 2021, as opposed to 2022. It is clear that some journalists didn't get the memo, given that the awards eligibility checklist was from the very onset shared by the awards committee with the press and on their different channels. To conclude, I wish to call on individual journalists to strive for excellence and do not wait for their respective news media to organize in-house sessions for them. Given the rise in data journalism today, it is also important that women journalism schools, that is the SJTM, that is the University of the Gambia School of Journalism and Digital Media, and the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication incorporate in their curriculum courses dealing with this very important emerging field. Of course, precision journalism or statistics are being taught at the university, but to keep up to speed with times, our journalists, especially up-and-coming ones, will be well placed in the modern newsroom, where the numbers game is increasingly becoming indispensable for the complex fields of reporting, such as elections, health, business, and finance, just to name a few. Finally, I want to assure you that the process was very much fair and transparent. It was our integrity at stake, and we did the job without any fear of favor, affection, or ill will. I thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together once again for our capable of cause, chairman of panel of judges. Hamada, that was a thorough explanation of the applications were treated until they got to where we are today. And next on the agenda, Hamada, was do we have coming on stage?
We have the statement by the chair, the National Journalism Awards Committee, Ms. Isoton Keita. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Keita on stage.
I must say we have been very few days for Ms. Keita and her team. They've not been sleeping, they've been working so hard to ensure this event is a success. We thank you, ma'am. Here's the mic.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Sankule Janko and Fatimata Sise for this. The Honorable Minister of Information, Honorable Lamin Bin Jame, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Sidi Njai, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, development partners, sponsors of the National Journalism Awards 2023, the GPU National Journalism Awards Committee, Chairman Panel of Judges, the GPU Board, Secretary General and Secretariat staff, media chief and veteran journalists, members of academia, civil society, and the media, all our finalists and their guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'll first of all say Alhamdulillah. I stand before you today with a heart full of gratitude and appreciation for the collective efforts that have brought us to this remarkable moment in the history of journalism in the great nation. The journey to organize the 8th National Journalism Awards has been one of challenges, perseverance, and eventual success. Just a few days ago, the shadow of doubt loomed over us, casting doubt on the realization of this event. Today, we enjoy in the glory of success, and I cannot help but express my sincere gratitude for the support that has brought us here. First and foremost, I extend heartfelt thanks to our invaluable partners, the Gambia Tourism Board, the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, the National Disaster Management Agency, Unique Group, Child Fund, the Gambia Football Federation.
Okay, nuyu leen rek si Gambian Talents TV yéen a ñoo seetaan live and direct si li nga xam ne nag mooy 8th edition of the National Journalism Award 2023 maanaam bés bu rëy bés boo xam ne nag si leen nar a jox award si ay journalistes yi nga xam ne ñu ngi liggéey fii si biir Gambia te it seen liggéey rek emut si seen boppa waaye seen liggéey yaa ngi leer seen liggéey yaa ngi ràcc seen liggéey yaa ngi nekk loo xam ne képp koo xam ne gis na ko rek dina doylu man Fatou Samba nag maa leen nekkal tey si biir kër bi nga xam ne nag mooy si hôtel bu mag a mag bi fii si Kër Point ñu gën koo xamee rek si li nga xam ne nag mooy Sandwich Hotel tey nag nekk bés bu rëy bés boo xam ne nag di Gambia Press Union mbootaay bi nga xam ne moo amee journaliste yi Gambia bi tey nag mbootaay boobu moo nara jox journaliste yi nga xam ne mooy taskati xibaar yi nga xam ne ñu ngi biir Gambia award comme ni ngeen ko gisee rek tey journaliste yi amul foofu noonu rek waaye journaliste yaa ngi si sanse yu rafet sanse yu rajta bu ko defee rek live and direct si Gambian Talents TV nii rek la moo demee koo xam ne nag saay bu Gambian Talents xewlee moo fa ne comme ni ma leen ko waxee rek journaliste yi nga xam ne ñu ngi liggéey fii dañu bari journaliste yi nga xam ne ñu ngi def ba mu baax dañu bare bu ko defee rek ñu waneel leen li nga xam ne nag tey journaliste yooyu leen nar a jox li nga xam ne mooy award wan journaliste yooyu seen liggéey ne daal dëgg ñi nga xam ne ñooy press union bi gis na ko te it bugga na ko ma taxawaat nag ki nga xam ne nag mooy Mr bi nga xam ne mooy Mr Gambian Talents dinaa ko bàyyi mu nuyoo askan bi wax ñu moom mooy kan ak si ban area la moo yëngat
hello Fadou kontaan naa trop waaye pour gisaat Gambian Talent Promotion and then sa liggéey bu rafet buñ nekk di def Gambian Talent Promotion suñ boss la ñun ñoo ko moom ñu nekk fa ak suñ brother bu baax bi and then xale yi yëpp maa ngi léegoo-léeg ma seetaan seen events yi and seen programme si so tey dañ ñëw seet si Gambia Press Union si awards yi nga xam ne moom la ñoo def ndawi journaliste yu nga xam ne ñu ngi def liggéey bu rafet bu mucc ayib pour taxawal réewi Gambie so kontaan nañ trop pour ñëw si award bi Fatou.
dégg sa wax nga ne journaliste yi Gambia ni ñu ngi liggéey óor na la nekk journaliste yaa ngi liggéey ñu bari ñu ngi wax ne journaliste yi ñooy tas dëkka journaliste yi ñooy yàqat Gambia gëm nga loolu nag gëmuloo
déedéet gëmuma ko parce que journaliste liggéeyam mooy pour jotali xibaar la journaliste liggéeyam mooy pour wane lan moo xam ne moom la nit ñi war a gis journaliste pour liggéeyam mooy def lu nga xam ne moom la nit ñi di gis mun see kontaan wala nit ñi ñu nga xam ne ni seen baat eggut fu ñu war a egga journaliste yi ñoo leen ko jottali kon mel na ni journaliste réew munta taxaw réew munta am su fekkee ne journaliste nekkul fa pour liggéey kon amul dara lu nga xam ne ayib na si seen liggéey rek la ñoo def muy pour jottali xibaar
lu mel ni muy award night dafa wane li nga xam ne mooy liggéey yi journaliste yi ndax dafa tax journaliste yi ñoomi neen ñu nekk di xëccoo mbete it ku nekk di compete noo ko gisee
waaw I think ne lii moom is a very good idea parce que lii comme tey maa ngi dégg chair of the awards committee mu wax ne képp ku fee jógee tey dafa am ndampaay kon mel na ni ne nekkatut sax léegi competition dafa nekk pour recognize journaliste yi te soo ko seetloo tam lii bu nekk am na ku nga xam ne dinañ fa mun a liya lii bu nekk liggéey bu nekk am na ku nga xam ne nii dina fa mun a def liggéey bu nga xam ne nii dafa nekk liggéey bu baax dafa nekk liggéey bu nga xam ne nii nit ki si boppam dina mun a gis boppam si liggéey boobu noonu kon journaliste si Gambie yéen ñëpp ñu ngi leen a wax pour ngeen nekk benn continuer liggéey bi bu nga xam ne yéen a ngi koo def rafet na lool.
président bi nga xam ne mooy suñu président di président di Gambia di Adama Barrow noo gisee ni mooy xoolee journaliste si biir Gambia mbaa mu ngi jox journaliste seeni wàccuwaay mu ngi jox journaliste seeni liggéey ñu mun koo def.
waaw pour comme loolu la du ma ko mun a meeso parce que you know waaye du ma mun a parce que xaw ma moom lan mooy stand-am right now ba lu ma mun a wax.
dangay dégg ay speech dangay gis ay moom ak journaliste yi gars yi seen réclo ak yooyu.
waaw lu ma ko advice daal mooy ne journaliste ay nit lañ journaliste ay nit yu nga xam ne lañ dañoo jotee nit xibaar journaliste ay nit yu nga xam ne dañoo def seen liggéey lañ kon luñ ko wax mooy su fekkee ne anything lu nga xam ne am na ko si xelam lu nekkul luy rafetal mbiri liggéeyu journaliste rek na ko génnee si xelam ba pare mu teg si xelam lu nga xam ne ni mooy dooleel ba pare mooy yokka liggéeyu journaliste yi réewi Gambia.
macha allah kontaan naa
thank you.
macha allah nii rek la moo demee suma sanse nag kenn jaarul si lu dul suma njëkkee di Anti Yama Diouf borom place bu rafet boobu borom place bu màgg boobu nga xam ne saa su ne rek moo may solal di Yamas Beauty and Beyond di defa Gambia yu rafet a rafet bu ko defee rek nii la moo demee Gambian Talents TV live and direct ki nga xam ne nag Gambia la bokka ki nga xam ne all the time dafa liggéeyal Gambia mu nekk ndaw bañ a daw munoon naa dem ñàkk a toog si suñu dëkk na nga def ak nootu na
jërëjëf maa ngi tudd Omar Cham ñu ngeen maa xamee si champion well at parliamentary level they call me Honorable Omar Cham so I'm glad to be here.
Omar tey kenn xamewul la Omar sa sanse baax na sa sanse lan la.
ay suma waaye nga de te tey ma ko nii sa de. waaw dama ko def ni fat rek.
soo ko teyoon nag fii toj.
waaw laa wax nii. waaw
na si jaar sa kooku noonu moo si jaar nda yow sa boppa fan la fa def.
actually ma si jaar waaye comme Malick laa ko délicate mooy ku ma dee ñëw suma suut si mostly. Yeah.
yaa ngi look nice tey nag ñu ne it's the 8th edition of the Journalism Award noo gisee 8th edition.
It's so amazing honestly GPU moom li noo wax rek mooy gàcce ngalaama parce que li leen xamee rek mooy saa yin organisé rek daf dee rafet daf dee dañ dee def ba mu baax and every year ñu ngi gën a yokk seen loo te this year tamit alhamdulilah programme bi rafet na nit ñi teewu leen comme ni nga ko bëggee it's classic xam nga arrangements everything xanaa di wax congrats rek honestly.
and do you think ne GPU ñu ngi liggéey seen liggéey fii si biir Gambia.
ñu ngi liggéey bu baax a baax a baax GPU ñu ngi liggéey si su passé affaire award bi tamit am na yeneen mandates to coordinate everything that has to do with journalism and media operations and then even when it comes to administrative level and so on their governance everything is just amazing they're doing well I just want to say keep it up.
ñu ne Gambia soo ne Gambia rek saa su ne ku nekk xelam dafa dem si freedom of expression ñëpp loolu la ñoo ñaan yàlla saa su ne Gambia am na loolu depuis bu fi jaamee nekkatut ndax Gambia amul loolu.
bu fi jaamee jógee there was an improvement on the freedom of expression because especially so bàyyi xel around 2017 18 19 20 yooyu noonu mun naa wax at yu passé leen yëpp even though at bi dañ ko xaloon a xañamal tuuti especially certain remarks yoo xamante mu jógee si executive bi. But ba léegi ñu ngi yaakaar ne freedom of expression mu ngi fi it's just ne comme dafa des a dëgër comme ni mu bëgg a mu dëgëree so lii daal ba ma just use opportunity pour ñaax ñëpp ñu jàpp si wàllum freedom of expression ñu xam ne comme fundamental human right la bi nga ko caaxaane parce que doon na ay mbir yu tax comme ñu xeexoon pour génnee fi dictatorship kon maa ko ñaan di executive bi down to everybody comme ñu ensure that that fundamental human right of freedom of expression is safeguarded waaye tamit ñu ñaan tamit ñoo xamante ne nii ñooy wax tamit ñu ko rafetal ñu rafetal seen wax yi seen kaddu ñu jël responsibility to ensure ne everyone can actually consume them fekk tamit di naxaral kenn di tooñ kenn.
Gambia démba ak Gambia tey when it comes to journalism foog nga ne mu ngi still exist.
Of course bu baax our journalism is way better now than before at least suma xelaat because soo ko bàyyi xel previously yaa ngi def journalism sax yaa ngi ragal ndax you are going behind bars tey wala maybe dina la rey. Maybe do gisa sa jabar and so on, but legi at least you have the space. Plus, niti ang gonna innovative, like the use of technology and so on. Even from an example of Gambia Talents Promotion, how you guys started and where you are now, like it's just marvelous. I just want to take this over to say congratulations on all the expansions and the great work that you're doing. And Tambo Bena TV and I'm on legi, I series of TVs, not just a catalog, you call it, right? We also have online TVs, and even Halais, I'm saying mobile phones, and they're able to create an online TV from it. So I think in terms of our journalism, it's really going very, very fine. The newspapers everywhere.
So, lo ñu mëna fatale ko yow jamono joju yan journalist nga ñu mëna fatale ko am na ñu bari ñuy sétane du ñaaka rek ñu ne nen deluwaat back to Demba.
Wow, naka la desa deluwaat back to Demba mom comme journalist yu ma mean on actually I'm not even sure that I can get their names correctly, but I can be very sure of Lamin Manga. I was a very big fan of of him, and Keba Diba as well. Uncle Keba Diba, may his gentle soul rest in peace. Madam Fat Sane, and even outside the journalism, there was this character, Kohama, that Madam impressed all the time. Yeah, minister, even though she was not a journalist, but she was a TV icon. That's always that was always able to get my attention and everything. So you don't I need to have maintenance come munul len di faté dal ñom Malik Jones how can I forget about him
Uncle Malik ya ngay dégg mu la
I cannot forget about him. Yes no honestly Uncle Ron. Okay, so maybe because the reason why I'm finding it difficult to remember this is because I'm with them. I mean, we interact almost every day. So maybe I'm thinking more about but yeah, Uncle Ron, honestly, Uncle Peter, West Coast, oh my God. Like all of these people are just so amazing. And even though they're still with us, Fatu Kamara, Fatu So, Fatu Toure, Kir Fatu, like all of these Fatu icons are just Hey, pause man, come nakale ko de waxe sax comme ñooñu dañ leen hanga so de wax yene dang de bayene especially you reserve them for the last. So Uncle Pa yow ñu la gëna baax for all the amazing work that you're doing everywhere.
Thank you so much.
You most welcome. And big up to, of course, Aida. I'm forever proud of you. Keep it up, Aida Kebe.
Aida Kebe, uyul ki nga xamne nak moy champion si ko defé rek yéen a ngi nii nag gis li nga xamne moy journalist yi stars yaa ngi nii si biir bu ko defé rek dinañ leen indil lépp loo xamne nag moy sawan bawan fii si nga xamne moo nekk award ceremony bi te it bi mooy seen 8th edition this time around nag seen motto bi ñu ne breaking from the past, safeguarding the principles of freedom of expression and freedom of expression. Kon nag lii la gars yi wax this time around su ko defee rek ñu jox leen li nga xam ne mooy principles si of freedom of expression bu ko defee rek mbokk yi comme ni leen ko waxee rek yéen a ngi live and direct fii si Gambian Talents TV su ko defee rek maa ngi live du ñàkk rek ñu am ay ndaw yoo xam ne wax dëgg neex yàlla ñoom it ay ndaw leen waaye seen loxo set wicc na nga def ak sa tur.
maa ngi fine sister naka ngoon si man la Satangi Dumbia.
Satan Dumbia tey ñu gis la si GPU award ceremony bi noo gisee GPU award ceremony bi nga xam ne moom la gars yi di organise every year ba pare bi nekk di 8th edition.
Dama dee bëgg di ñëw annually and I think it's really important pour ñu génn in our numbers and support because journalists yi biir Gambia for a very long time they've been doing wonderful job and of course ñoom neen appreciate each other's work but every year tamit dama dee foog ne lii war naa mun a ëppa lii war naa mun a ëppa GPU na duga si loxo government bi ndax government bi mun a dooleel ndaw yi because soo seetee journalism fraternity bi of course am nañ ay mag waaye ndaw yee si gën a bëri te ñu ngi def all their best to joxe good information in fact the counter misinformation here in the Gambia, making sure that information being sohla. Tell all tamid right la si nini am nañ right to information. The journalists if we Gambia wax dega they are trying all their best to ensure that we reach that.
Naka nga gisee nguur bi si wàllum li nga xam ne moo nekk journalist yi a lot of people dañ dee foog ne time Yaya Jammeh daal fii la dëkk bi gënoon a métti when it comes to nit yi ñu mun a express seen bopp or journalist yi mun a génn dem uti ji important stories noo gisee jamono Jawar jamono ki nga xam ne nag moo nekk suñ président bi di Barrow.
Jamono bi nag sant yàlla because soo ma nee sant yàlla am nañ right to information act bi bu njëkk bi woon it wasn't passed but now it's a law nga xam ne all Gambians have right to information mun nga dem to any institution nga am access to any information that you are demanding as long as it is not threatening to national security so foog na ñu ngi dem kanam ñu ngi gis journalists yi nga xam ne they are good in expressing themselves giving out the information even if it is against the government so foog na ne loolu it's a plus yes.
So looy ñaax ndaw yi nga xam ne ñu ngi si biir fiil bi muy xale te ku la xam rek xam la si yëfi women empowerment ku la xam tamit xam la si li nga xam ne moo nekk yëfi li nga xam ne moo nekk ndaw.
Man lu ma wax ndaw yi mooy nañ gën a try because journalism du future bi rek du Gambia kese nañ gën a try and also nañ make sure ne information buñ mënti joxe na doon lu nga xam ne it's valid something lu nga xam ne mooy dëgg bi let's always speak the truth even if it is against ourselves so man loolu am pour wax ndaw yi nga xam ne ñu ngi biir journalism sector bi di def lu gaay mun.
suñ ministre bi mi nga xam ne moo amee wàllum li nga xam ne moo nekk you know communication loo koy wax soo doon war a wax ak moom war a jàkkaarloo moom war a wax ak moom.
ministre bi de maa ngi ko ñaan mu gën a xëccal ndaw yi si kawam mu allow ndaw yi ñu liggéey ak ñoom because ndaw yi tam ñu ngi amee some innovative ideas ak solutions yi nga xam ne mun naa yóbbu Gambia kanam so man ministre bi loolu laa ko gën a ñaan na involve ndaw yi si liggéey bi mu may leen chance ñoom tamit ñu wone seen munin daal waaw.
am na solo kon nag jërëjëf sa final message.
suma final message mooy na ndaw yi gën a góorgóorlu rek Gambia suñ loxo la nekka tey ëllëg gannaaw ëllëg yëpp suñ loxo la nekka so ñun ñoo ko mun a yóbbu lu ñoo wax tey Gambia du dem ñun mii ñoo ko mun a yóbbu so nañ def suñ kemtalaay kattan pour make sure ne dëkk bi mu dem daal waaw.
macha allah Gambia dina dem ndax du dem kon nag loolu satang moo leen koo laaj bu ko defee rek di leen wax ne yéen a ngi seetaan Gambian Talents TV seen favorite online television bi nga xam ne saa su ne rek moo leen a indi li nga xam ne nag mooy xew fii si biir dëkk Sister Sasan Nice na dinaa bëgg a wax ak yow benn 1 minute. Unfortunately dafa mel ni moom daal ruskat la waaye nii rek la moo demee si Gambian Talents TV lépp loo xam ne mu ngi xew fii si biir dëkk bi man Fatou Samba dinaa leen ko indil waxtaan ak ñi nga xam ne nag mooy askan bi bu ko defee rek waxtaan ak réew mi si li nga xam ne moo nekk di xew Gambian Talents TV right now su ko defee rek ñu indi suñ benn caameñ mu ñëw rek ñu waxtaan ak moom comme ni mooy demee award cérémonie bi nag ndeysaan dafa nekk loo xam ne am na ñoo xam ne dañ génn àddina waaye ba léegi ñu ngi fàttaleku li nga xam ne loolu la fi gars yi def comme dama koy wax saa su ne ku wàcc sa anda boo dem rek fekk fa borom sa dëkk su la awoodut beneen dëkk nga dem fa mu awoot la waaye fu mu nekk nii li nga xam ne nag mooy GPU di Gambia Press Union wax dëgg fa neex yàlla gars yaa ngi def very well fii si biir dëkk bi dëgg la nag kenn moom du muutal saa su ne rek lu nit liggéey fokk rek ñu ne ko mu dooli tànkaam bu ko defee nag macha allah ma indilaati leen beneen Gambian icon boo xam ne jàmbaar si biir jàmbaar la koo xam ne moom it dafa liggéeyal askan bi ma bàyyi la rek nga introduce sa boppa ak askan bi nga xam ne ñoo ñuy seetaan.
Yes, good evening to everyone who is watching Gambian Talents Promotion. I am Sedna Aliu Jaju, your favorite blogger and activist. It's a pleasure to email all of you.
One of the biggest activists here dëkk bi bu ko defee rek ñu dugal si li nga xam ne moo nekk 8th edition ni Gambia Press Union bu ñuy organise noo ko gisee.
Yeah, to me, it's something Luma Gisne is actually very, very good since they actually are trying to appreciate the people, journalists who've been doing an amazing job trying to enlighten the people. These are things that should actually be encouraged by all stakeholders, by all CBOs, and by all NGOs. And I am sure by doing so, we'll also try to amplify and encourage more and more journalists to keep on doing the good job that they are doing in informing the masses.
So loolu mën a wax si jamono Yaya Jammeh bi fi nekkee ak jamono ki nga xam ne mooy President Adama Barrow when it comes to journalism, when it comes to communication naka la gars yi yaatalee li nga xam ne moo nekk ñi nekk si media.
Yeah, so actually, so the whole time when Jammeh was here, there were a lot of issues which actually denied and prevent Hamga journalists to be able to speak their minds, to be able to come up with human, interesting stories. However, with the change of our government in 2016, the space was very, very conducive to allow the journalists to be able to speak on issues, especially on human, interesting stories. And this is actually something that we should give credit to President Barrow and his government for doing so. However, there is still more need, muna yatal mbirbi for journalists, muna def sen liggéey dal numu waré dal.
Freedom of expression, peace dëkk bi am na amul.
Well, anyway, man kay mom, I would say, I'm not amut because we have seen officers, some activists who were actually being arrested for the mere fact of speaking their mindset, which include Madi Jobate, Alaji Bora, and the like. And these are actually not issues that we should encourage in a democratic environment. People should be free to speak up their mindset. And as much as how hard it is, man, they never encourage to speak their mindset. But the issue of these arrests will actually, in some instances, affect and also give a bad impact to the Barrow-led administration.
Some people will say that Gambia do not celebrate as a media person. Then you hear banga day, si award yi dine diw jox len ko award. Why school ko mungi alive hololoko taluloko.
Yeah, so Limum, to me, Nekune, only the media is Gambia actually in general. As far as you are living, people don't celebrate you. But when you die, it's actually when they celebrate you. Even yourself, Fatu, you are doing a very, very good job. But no one is talking about it. But I'm very sorry. When you die today, man, you will hear many, many awards. People who are talking. GTV under Pa Osman Juf is doing an amazing job. But who is trying to amplify what Pa is doing? No one. But when he dies today, people will come out trying to celebrate him on the work he has actually done. Pandembai also as well. He has done a lot of good job here. No one talked about it until he died. We have seen many journalists who have actually done a lot of good things in the Gambia here, but no one celebrated them. But however, the Gambia Union, what they do is actually very, very good. I think it's to be encouraged and also support. We're doing more and more to also glorify and amplify the voices of people who are doing very good in the media industry.
Wagalu am solo muy ne press union bi mu ngi def waaye su leen encourage press union bi lan nga leen encourage si yan area ngay wax gaay ñu gën a improve.
Yeah, so man nag lu may wax ni mooy there's actually a need to explore areas of investigative journalism. For instance, to investigate issues of corruption, which is actually very, very key. I know there are a lot of issues happening with the border government, but I'm sure if if the journalists could investigate, it might also ensure we have a very transparent and accountable government that will respect the human rights, that will also respect the need of the sovereign citizens.
Tey soo doon fàttaliku ñi nga xam ne ñoo fi nekkoon ci journalism area bi nekk ñoo xam ne ay mag leen kan nga ñu mën a fàttaliku.
Yeah, man fi ñoom la fa ñoom Dira Haidara ndem si yàlla ñoom Bora Mbodj ñoom Adi Fati mu nekk si Ethiopia. They've actually done a lot of good job, and I'm sure most of these small young journalists are also looking up at them, and their work still can be seen by many people here, and even myself also. Until date, Bora Mbodj has actually been my role model, being a blogger. I do enjoy his shows previously at GRTS, and I also encourage the young journalists to also continue learning from the bigger journalists, those who left and also those who are also left behind.
A lot of people then they want hana journalism is all about English. Na ñiti den wara di laka angale. Ñu ngi fi am soose, ñu ngi fi am jola, ñu ngi fi am olof, ñu ngi fi am njaago. But hardly nga gis Gambian media ñu toog mu laka li nga xam ne mooy lakaam comme niñ koy defee rek ñun all the time, you know, di laka li nga xam ne mooy suñ olof li nga xam ne loolu leen nampa mu nekk loo xam ne soo ko waxee nit mun laa dégga. Hana journalism is all about English in Gambia or ndax suñ local languages yi waruñ ko consider.
Yeah, I think for me the first see mindset, English, French, these are all colonial languages. And this is also the impact of actually slavery. But however, yaakaar naa ne dañu war a yaatal daal to ensure that both Manikas, Jolas, Manjakos are also well represented. Because the news you are reading, you are reading it for the English in Britain or the French in France, but it's for the Jolas and the Manikas and the Manjakos who are in the Gambia. There's a need for us to diversify the languages, which will include all and sundry. Specifically also those in the rural Gambia. Me being a rural champion, my people in rural Gambia should also hear what is also being said. However, I'm not some of these radios like the Gambia Talent Promotion. I'm not events on this Manika, all of Buneka also try to also amplify some of the works that they're actually doing. So I also encourage the GTV again continue the work you are actually doing. You're doing a very, very good job. Especially my big brother, Pa Osman Job. I'm actually really, really proud of you and your team as well.
Yow it kenn du yow saay bu la Gambian Talents ooyee muy guddi muy ngoon muy bëccëg you are always there and kenn du la laajte question nga ne lu tax nga laajte ma question bi ba di nga pare ku leeral kon nag ñu bàyyi la rek nga nuyoo mbokki Mandinka yi rek du yàq.
Yeah, so kami follow ko
briefly rek loo doon wax rek nga wax ko.
Yeah, so kami follow jang wala kada bi lu ngale mial ko the Gambia Press Union wala mol ko mandi jang pour ila mol ñing mi yalon ko ibe do ko kendo cekane pour que recognize ñun donc kule mbiyan ko ñantale ya encourage ni mobe do ko kendo la ñantale ko ya fay ko thank you very, very much what you are doing aba kala pour amari ñi fanan ay continue do ko kendo abe minna franyo fanan ni ajibe nañu kibar bunato normally English it can use as a means of communication ni tara in up countries like rural Gambia mol bi menon ko imanta school and if fanan ila ñantale fanaga to be able to hear what is also being said. So Gambia Talents TV, telele mianonko, Jola Lembang, Mandingo Lembang, Surwa Lembang, Yebe Kanandi Jele. Kule mianonko Monyate Fana, ye support Bini Chegang. I think Ella Boss, Minkeda Pasman Juf, Katala Balem. I'm actually really, really proud of him. I tell you, mianonko, no matter where you are, even as far as CRR, near to the castle. Events are also very interesting and very, very captivating as well.
I mean, jërëjëf.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kon nag suma président mu ngi nii di président ni Gambia Press Union su ko defee rek ñu am ko di MS Bah bu ko defee rek moom it mu waxtaan ak askan bi du yàq dara bu ko defee rek Mr President salaamaaleykum ma bàyyi la rek nga taxawee nii su ko defee askan bi gis suma président ak sanseem bi gis ngeen ni mu yaatalee sanse bi noonu la soo xeedee institution da nga war a sanse ba mut wane ba mut noonu la Gambia di mun a demee waaye amee place tey defuloo ba baax dina garaaw Mr President salaamaaleykum.
Alaikum salam. Yow tam sant nga.
yow lay jàppale xam nga yaay suma caabe.
non jàmbaar nga non man yow lay jàppale.
ñu bàyyi la rek nga introduce sa bopp su ko defee askan bi nga xam ne ñooy seetaan du ñàkk am na koo xam ne xëj na teel la gis moom it mu mun a gën a xam kan mooy suñu président.
waaw man maay Mohamed S Bah ñu xamee ma tamit MS Bah moom maa jiite mbootaay bi nga xamante ne moo jiite journaliste yi ak taskati xibaar yëpp ci Gambia bi daanaka ya ndongo Banjul la doomi Gambia la ya basically te Baye Fally journaliste yi la
ke ngene naka
Baye Fally journaliste yi la
yéen tey déggati naa beneen macha allah su ko defee bii nekk di 8th edition te bii nekk di first time bi nga nekkee li nga xam ne moo nekk président nga def lu mel nii munoon naa yàgga di am yow nga ne daal fu mu nekk nii mënuloo koo continuer mbete lii nekkul di dem lan moo waral nga still teg si sa tànka benn 8th edition.
waaw xam nga journaliste yi duñ dee am time pour ñu célébrer leen so bés bi lañ leen di jagleel nga gis ne bés boo xamante ne at least xam nañ suñ liggéey bi nu mel fa métti gis nañ yow loo nekk di def yaa ngi feeñal ñeneen ñi di leen jox chance pour ñu feeñ ci télé bi the voices of the voiceless seen programme bi vous bi ak yu demee noonu journaliste yi yooyu moo leen itteel waaye da nga gis ne ñun comme ñi nga xamante ne ñoo njëkkoon a xalaat li ne dafa war a am bés yi nga xamante ne ñu ko war a jagleel pour journaliste yi ñëw ñu at least celebrate leen wax leen ne gàcce ngalaama loolu daf lay yokka li nga xamante ne mooy jom ak tamit ñu remind naan ñu waxtaan comme dégg nga suma speech bi maa ngi wax ne journaliste yi ñun tamit war nañoo xool suñ taxawaay nga xam ne duñ parparlu nga xam ne tamit duñ wax li nga xamante ne amut so loolu yëpp reminder la ba pare gis nga gathering bi man am na vétéran yoo xamante ne sax gëj naa leen a gis yow dañ dee gëj a gisee because of liggéey bi léegi gisee nañ tey mu ngi nii yaa ngi sanse maa ngi gis journaliste yoo xamante ne sax ñu ngi sanse yoo xam ne macha allah so loolu yëpp bés la bés bu màgg la an tey da nga gis ne this year sax Deda Haidara buñ ko reyee 19 years la so mu ngi tombé bés bi ñu jagleel ko waaw so da nga gis ne Deda Haidara bokk na ñu sos Gambia Press Union so loolu yëpp nekk na li nga xamante ne am na solo ci Gambia.
loolu nekk loo xam ne neex naa dégg waaye ñu bari dañoo wax ne journalism in Gambia ñu bari dañoo faral di wax ne xanaa it's all about English ana soose yi ana olof yi ana njaago yi ana li nga xam ne nag mooy yeneen laaka yi nga xam ne mu ngi si biir dëkk bi.
waaw yéen a ngi try yow sa programme yu bari da nga ko dee def si olof ñeneen dañ dee def léegi journalism sax léegi la gën a yaatu soo xoolee Fat Samba because jamono yooyu le newspaper moo fi nekkoon radio bi bariwutoon te radio yi fi nekkoon tamit few current affairs lañ dee def online bi tamit time boobu jamono yooyu sax bariwut waaye léegi da nga gis ne online bi ñu ngi def liggéey bu rafet yéen GTTV ñu ngi gis ne radio yi ñu ngi def xibaar yi nga xamante ne olof moo tax nit ñaa ngi xam léegi luy xew ci jamono yi so journalism amut olof amut li amul njaago journalism daal seen taxawaay mooy pour taxawal ñëpp waaw.
naka dëkk bi when it comes to media ndax nguur bi ñu ñoo jox suñ doole am na ay jamono yoo xam ne rawatina nag jamono bi nga xam ne former président bi mu ngi fi woon ñu bari dañ daan wax ne media bi dundee mun a def seen liggéey ndax jamono ji loolu mu ngi am ndax amut comme que yow yaa nekk suñu président.
waaw comme gis nañ yokkute wax naa ko suma wax gaaral suma bu ma doon gaaral kàddu wax naa ne yokkute am na. gis nañ ne léegi since président Barrow bu mu ñëwee benn journaliste reyuñ ko waaye jamono yaa jamee rey nañ journaliste yi gàddaay nañ daw nañ waaye loolu musu amagut fi waaye gis nañ ay tànka yoo xamante ne tamit government bi mu ngi koo jël especially presidency bi mu ngi wax comme kaddu la nekk di wax ba tax na ñu ngi arrest ay journaliste te loolu tanka yoo xamante ne la moom lañ gisoon tanka yooyu lañ gisoon jàmme di ko def di wax nga gis ne police yi nañ arrest journaliste yi so loolu yaakaar naa ne gis nañ ko benn yoon ñaari yoon ñetti yoon waaye remind nañ président ne pour mu bàyyi xelam su ma woowee président bi mooy président of the Republic of the Gambia président Adama Barrow because bu mu ñëwee yokkute dafa am media landscape bi yaatu nit ñi kontaan presse bi liggéey ñu ngi def seen liggéey waaye suñ gisee yéenay rek dina nekk li nga xamante ne def ñoo ragal loo yéenay te ñun nag GPU duñ tàyyi duñ bàyyi because yaa jàmme trayoon na ko nit ñi dee nañ ci ñeneen ñi continuer nañ xeex bi so loolu xam naa ne duñ demaat ci problème yooyu noonu waat te duñ ko nangu te ñu ngi liggéey ak nguur tamit gis nañ Ministry of Information ñu ngi gën a rataxal suñu diggante
anti Aïcha Davis
ñoom ñëpp ak ministre bi si boppam Lamin Queen Jammeh mu ngi def ay jéego pour mu gën a jege GPU dégg na moom mooy chief guest of honor bi sax si National Journalism Award bi gaaral na kàddu yu rafet te ñu ngi liggéey ñun ak ñoom ñu ngi liggéey ak ñoom basically
bu ko defee rek xam naa dinañ la bàyyi parce que fu mu nekk speeches yaa ngi am door su ko defee rek ñu bàyyi gars yi ñoom ñu ñëw.
jërëjëf sa liggéey rafet na te subsequently bugga naa gis yow tamit sa gars yi ñu apply nga gis ne ñoom tamit at least dinañ gis.
award bi amut ñi nga xam ne yéen a gis gars yi seen liggéey xam nga sometimes am na ñoo xam ne dinañ ne daal dëgg liggéey bi rafet na waaye du ñàkk comme naka la ko yeneen parts of the world di mun a defee.
waaw ñu ngi def moo tax ñu ngi dañ dee joxe Press Freedom Award dañ dee joxe Deda Haidara Award Family Award waaye xam nga liste bi award bi soo xoolee 8 edition soo xoolee tam ñu def jaloore si media bi dafa bari. ñoom Uncle Sam ñoom Pape Sène ñoom Diye Diaw so dañ dee xool rek journaliste yi nga xamante ne defoon nañ jaloor Panderi Mbay Panderi family am bi Panderi ñoom Panderi Freedom ñooñu yëpp def nañ jaloore so da nga gis ne liste bi dafa yaatu so man sax bëgg naa am benn best Press Freedom Award Press Hero Award so I'm hoping that live suñu mayee dinaa am one day maybe yow tamit
di nga ko am sa ku liggéey fayam.
jërëjëf thank you.
That's my president bu ko defee rek Aïssatou Colley moom it ñëw na Aïssatou fu mu nekk nii award bi gaa yaa ngi ñëw start li nga xam ne moo nekk liggéey bi Aïssatou salaamaaleykum and you look beautiful.
Thank you very much Fatou di nuyu mbokk yi rek di leen wax ne ñu ngi seetaan Gambian Talents TV comme que noo ko waxee maa ngi dégg sa waxtaan bi ak GPU président bi nekk MS wax na yu am solo waaye tamit di nuyu suñ viewers yi di xam ne tey rek journaliste yi ñoo xewle suñ taxawee fii nii xam nga ne dëgg neex yàlla tey journaliste ñoo xewle so kon ka noo ko waxee award ceremony bi commencé na so dañoo gis a lot of today they will be celebrating journalists yoo xam ne ñu ngi def extremely well even though am na ñoo xam ne apply yuñ ko sax waaye tey it's all about celebrating the young people and also journalists of this country.
Aïssatou dinaa la bàyyi rek nga wax ñu tey lan la bés bi taxawal maanaam lan mooy gaay seen moto du yaaxa dara.
Yeah, well, of course, come Noko Hame, this is the 8th edition of the National Journalism Award 2023. And Gisngen Lolu, Temineka sent team for the night is breaking breaking from the past, safeguarding the principles of press freedom and freedom of expression, which is important because when you hear press freedom, lu bari la tenku. Suñ waxee freedom of expression tamit waaw kon nag da nga ko bàyyi booy ñu ngi ñoo wax ne tam ñu ngi am koo xam ne moom tamit dafa bëgg a interview so dañ ko grant interview
dinañ ko may interview waaye xam naa dafa nekk benn 2 minutes rek because fu mu nekk nii speech si start na and then foog rek ñu indi loolu dinaa la bàyyi
so you're still watching Gambian Talents TV, and it's the 8th edition of the National Journalism Award here in Sun Beach, where today we'll be celebrating journalists who are extremely doing well in their different fields. So of course I have a young person here who is Mam Digen, if I am right. Right. So today you're here to be part of celebrating excellence in journalism. Today, how do you see this auspicious occasion?
Thank you very much. I am very glad to be here today. I'm actually the advocacy officer for CRPD, one of the sponsors of the event today, and we're sponsoring the security category. And for us, working around security, most especially security sector reform, is something that interests us very well. So if we see other young people, most especially journalists, working towards achieving the same goal, it becomes a duty upon us to support them and to also to see them be celebrated at national level. And we are glad to be partners, and I am glad to be here tonight.
I mean, you've talked about security, which is a very crucial sector in terms of reporting and, of course, safeguarding the fundamental human rights and so. So how do you see the sector?
For me, it's very important because we need to know what happens in our security sector. And so amplifying the voices and the work of what is going on in security becomes very important. And it helps us understand the misconceptions, but also understands what we are not told from the security. And as journalists, they're there to amplify the voices from within that. And we are very glad, like I said, for the initiative.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very beautiful. So Aisha, therefore dañoo dem ñu indil li nga xam ne mooy award bi comme que programme bi start na ñu indil leen loolu. So still in tune with Gambian Talents TV whilst ñu indil leen the full coverage of the 2023
Once again, for that, All
right. Thank you very much, Child Fund. Congratulations, Nyima. On to the next category, environment category. And this category is sponsored by the National Disaster Management Agency. The winner for this category is going to receive a certificate, a crystal, cash amount, and a gift. And ladies and gentlemen, please stand by and watch the video for the category announcement.
An investigation we did on illegal timber smuggling, and illegal timber smuggling happened to be an environmental catastrophe in Senegal because it had led to the cutting down of over 1 million trees, endangered species rosewood, and this rosewood is being exported imported into the Gambia by smugglers and certified by our own government for export. And what we thought to be important was not just the environmental consequences of it, but also the direct involvement of our own government in allowing illegal timber to be smuggled in the country and exported with a stamp from our own Ministry of Environment and Department of Forestry and through our own ports authority. We thought that this is an important subject to shed light on, and it also happened at a time when Gambia had gone into an agreement with Senegal to allow them to use Gambia as a launch pad to attack rebels in Casamance.
When you talk about pollution and then when we talk about climate change, we all know that this is a global, crisis, and then Gambia is not an exception. So when people are enlightened about, this area, it makes it very, easy in combating this issue, even though it's really hard and it takes a lot to combat the issues of environmental, to combat the issues of environmental issues, and then also other issues related to environment and climate change. How I create awareness for the audience was to enlighten more about the issues in these areas, like the burning issues in these areas. So this makes my audience to know how to protect the environment, or how to use other precautions and other steps to, at least help in the mitigation process or adaptation in combating climate change.
What we have witnessed recently is a clear testimony of how vulnerable our country is when it comes to climate change. We've witnessed serious flash floods, devastating flash floods that have destroyed homes, that have affected the livelihood of people, and that have also killed many people. As a result of which, we have also been informed about the urgency of the impact of climate change in the country and the action that we need to take towards addressing it. So when I tell this story, I tell this story by gathering this scientific data, speaking to actors, key actors, in order to package a story that is appealing enough for informed decisions and collaborative action towards addressing climate change.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the environment category, and congratulations to all the nominees. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now invite a representative from the National Disaster Management Agency to join us on stage to help us present this award to the winner. Like I said, the winner for this category will receive a certificate, a crystal cash amount, and a gift. Representative from NDMA, please. Anyone from NDMA? All right, in the absence of representative from NDMA, we would like to call on one of the loyal partners and very supportive partners to the National Journalism Awards 2023, our Pakistani representative here present this evening, to join us on stage to help us present this award to the winner for this category. Thank you very much. Yes, please on stage. And just a little bit about why this story stands out is because of the reporter's use of aerial shots. Drone footage of the Tambi wetlands represents innovation and journalistic excellence. Its inclusion of a pro-environment youth group underlines the urgency with which young people of Banjul worry about encroachment of an area that is home to marine resources. In less than 4 minutes, the story details why the Tambi wetlands matters to the conservationists. And the reporter went further to make reference to the 1977 Banjul Declaration and Wildlife Conservation Act, and also solicits responses from officials of the Works and Ministry and NDMA. And this is a good story, according to the judges overall, with quality images and good narration. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll now hand over the mic to our guest here who will help us present this award to the winner for this category. Thank you very much, sir.
Mohamedou Lamin Choi. Congratulations, Mr. Mohamedou Lamin Choi.
Thank you very much. And the winner for this category is Mohamedou Lamin Choi of QTV. And Mohamedou Lamin Choi will receive a certificate, a crystal, a cash amount, and a gift. Well done. Congratulations, Modulamin Choi, and congratulations to all the nominees in this category. You're all winners. We know how much it takes to come up with such stories, and for them to be nominated for an award is a remarkable achievement. Well done to all of you. And Sankola, the next category is what?
Yes, indeed. The next category on the agenda is, of course, the health and medical reporting. That's what we have for the next category. Before we give full details about what will happen next, I'd like our technicians to play on the video for this category.
Health and medical reporting captivated me due to its profound impact on people's lives. And balancing scientific accuracy and engaging in storytelling requires meticulous fact-checking. And I make sure that I simplify the technical jargons that were used without compromising the accuracy of the story.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, we've witnessed the peddling of fake news online about the virus, and of course that also caused public reluctance towards going to the hospitals for medical attention, and as a result of which also our nursing mothers were running away from the hospital, and children were missing their immunization at hospitals. So this was very serious because Gambia is well known for its immunization record. So I had to intervene as a journalist to tell this story, to interview the experts, to get the data across on our media platform, to inspire hope from parents, from the public, that no matter what, the health facilities are.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the video for this category, and that is health and medical reporting. And I'd like to call on Sir Professor, Knowledge of Reservoir, Nala Gray Johnson, to present this award. Please welcome on the stage, Mr. Nala Gray Johnson. I suppose he is. Is Mr. Nala Gray Johnson on our here? Well, if he's not, I would like to call on Uncle D.A. Jao to come and present this award for the health category reporting. Please welcome on stage, sir.
I want to rely on brother Dominic. Khadija. Congratulations.
Health and medical reporting award goes to Khadija. Khadija, please welcome on stage to receive your award. Congratulations, Khadija. Meanwhile, let me give you a little bit of, few details as to why Khadija actually won this award. The title of the story is Epidemic on Gambian Roads. Why the entry stands out. Use of short and crisp sentences beginning with an 8-worded opening line. That's the lead, capturing the essence of the entire story. Creativity. Treating road accidents as a purely health story, an epidemic smacks of someone with a nose for a good story. Statistically and photographically informative, with graphs providing insights into such metrics like the number of road accidents, number of deaths, severity of injuries, among others. By embedding short video clips in the article, the reporter adds not just new perspective to a story, but gives the reader audience visual snapshots of the issues at the heart of the story. Especially the operating theater, a rare access for such stories in the Gambia. The WHO figures quoted in the story add extra credibility, whilst the National Road Strategy launched in 2020 brings to the equation a policy dimension. Overall, a powerful story that doesn't stop at informing the reader, but equally enlightening outstanding narratives, technique which emerges
the reader into the piece. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a round of applause for Khadija for this health reporting category.
Thank you very much, Sankole. I'm so super proud. Congratulations to our courageous ladies, Nyuma and of course, Khadija. We are super proud of you. And on to the next category, agriculture reporting category. Ladies and gentlemen.
So the story that made it to the nomination is a story that looked at the challenges of rural women, especially those in Foni, in accessing water for their gardenings. So agriculture plays a great role because these women, linking it to my story, these women that do gardening, this is their main source of income. This is where they put food on the table. This is how they manage to pay the school fees of their children, and this is how they sustain their families. So agriculture is very important in the development of the nation.
So this story was done at a crucial time when politicians actually needed the voters. Wherein we focus more to give them an informed choice as to what their candidates or voters actually need. This is a time when you can pin politicians to do things that they never wanted to do. So this story was done at a particular time. In engaging our audience, we had to go down. We were inspired as journalists to go down to the ground and engage these people to see some of the challenges that they face without having to hear from other people.
My story was fertilizer exorbitant and then excess rainfall within 2022 harvest season. Yeah, reporting on agriculture could be very challenging sometimes because most of those involved are almost all in field. So establishing that connection between you and the farmers with their native language, it can be the only solution in order for you to achieve what you want. So for that being the case, most of the time it becomes a very critical, challenge for most of the media practitioners when it comes to like executing their responsibilities in achieving the facts that they need. For that being the case, I try to put the story into two versions, like Mandinka and three versions, Mandinka, Wolof, and Fula, in order for them to capture, what was actually in the story. And then, Alhamdulillah, after the story was published for almost, let's say, 8 hours, I was having feedbacks from the people, feedbacks from the rural area, and then they were actually very content with what was published.
On aflatoxin. Aflatoxin have been here for several years, and as a result, we have depreciation in our groundnut values. When Gambia realized to see aflatoxin in our groundnut, before then we used to export our groundnut to the European markets. But when we start to realize that we have aflatoxin in our groundnut, we were not able to send our groundnuts to the European market anymore. So what we do is we send our groundnut to China. And we all know that the European market is more lucrative than China. Still now the government is not doing anything towards it. One thing, it is affecting our health. It is not fetching the money we want in the international market.
And that's the agriculture reporting category. Congratulations to all the nominees under this category. And at this juncture, I'd like to call on the Lord Mayor of Banjul, Rahim Malik Lowe, to join us on stage to help us present this award to the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Agriculture Reporting Award goes to Momadou Gajigo.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor. And the reason why this Momadou Gajigo's report stands out is because the reporter went into the trenches, tells the story from the vantage point of two rural farmers, good image quality and reporting. And of course, the story brings into sharp focus the plight of poor rural farmers. Congratulations, Momadou Gajigo. Well deserved.
All right, Lord Mayor didn't want to steal the limelight and had to give Mahmoud the space to take the photo by himself. Congratulations, Mahmoud, once again. And he just received a certificate, crystal cash amount, and a gift. Well done, and congratulations to all the nominees. Over to you, Sankulet.
Thank you very much, Pamela. And next on the category announcement, we have the Culture, Arts, and Entertainment category. And on this category, I would like to call on a representative from the Gambia Tourism Board, that is GTB, to come and hand over this award to the winner. Any rep from GTB? Okay, pardon me for that. First of all, let's take the highlights for the nominees on this category. Technician, Musa, please let's go on.
This story was triggered by the Tourism and Culture Minister's comment that he has failed as a minister because the Gambia doesn't even have a national troupe right now and also a national theatre. So okay, I was like, okay, as a journalist, the only thing that I can do is to venture into this and to know why, to ask the relevant authorities why the Gambia doesn't have a national theatre yet after 50 years of independence. So that is why I embark on this story, because looking at the national theatre, it is very, very important, not only to boost the country's cultural aspect or entertainment aspect, but as well as the economy, because having a national theatre is a very huge edifice whereby you can have tourism come and visit. We can also have our artists, because if you look at the entertainment industry, it is booming, and we have different artists, you know, being in drama, poetry, music, or whatever. So if we have this, it will reduce their costs, because we've seen most of the time artists have issues, you know, booking events, because venue rather, because venues are very expensive, private ones. But if we have a national theatre, at least it will cut down their, you know, their costs.
If you look at culture, culture is portrayed a lot of times through arts, especially if you look at this story I did. And also, arts is also portrayed through culture, especially during cultural activities. So also, if you look at culture and arts combined, it gives you entertainment and is also educative to the public. So this is my understanding of the arts, entertainment, and culture. I dwell on Kora. Kora is well known in the Gambia and the sub-region, and many are trying to claim its origin. I talk about the origin of Kora, which was founded in the Gambia here in a place called Sanimentring in Brufut. Well, this is about our culture. And I believe that if we want to really portray our culture or make society or people love our culture, we have to reiterate on the things that we have as national treasure.
Culture, arts, and entertainment category, and unfortunately, it doesn't appear that we have a representative from the Gambia Tourism Board. And on that note, I would like to call on Fatou Jang Senghor to please kindly come on stage and present this award to the winner. Ma'am, please welcome on stage.
The award goes to Mariama Cham.
Yes, Mariama Cham is the winner of Culture, Arts, and Entertainment category for 2023. Congratulations, MC. And in case you're wondering why this Mariama actually stands out on this category, the reason as follows. First of all, the story and the title of the story is Gambia Needs a National Theatre. And why the entry stands out? First of all, it says it's a great story idea, significance and timing of the story. The case presented by the reporter, drawing on the current inroads in the creative industry and how a national theatre could propel the careers and talents of artists and performers. The prominence factor, getting a soundbite from the tourism minister inadvertently reinforcing the story's importance by alluding to the failure in having a national theatre. Involvement of very critical stakeholders in the story, including artists, and National Center for Arts and Culture. Overall, it's a good reporting. That's according to the judges. Congratulations once again. And of course, Mariama Cham will, her category was sponsored by the Gambia Tourism Board. She will receive a certificate, a cash amount, a smartphone from AfriCell, a gift, and a dinner at Spice Home of Chef Bojang. Congratulations once again. Pamela, what's next on the category announcements?
Thank you very much, Sankole. Congratulations to our ladies. We have 3 now in the house. We are super proud. The next category is political reporting.
Getting my sources was not difficult, but getting the accurate data that I needed for my story was a bit challenging. I was going back and forth just to get the accurate data for my story. I was analyzing the previous parliamentary elections that we had in the country, so I needed an accurate data for my story. The impact that the story had. I did this story prior to the parliamentary elections. So you will see that through the story, many were educated about the importance of parliamentary elections. And you will, if you are to analyze it with the previous elections that we had, it was better than the previous ones.
In this presidential election, what we saw was heavy defeat in terms of that the opposition actually faced, allowing the incumbent to regain the seat. So everybody at that point thought that that was the end of life for the opposition. But what we ended up showing in the parliamentary election is that resurgence among them. So it was based on that that we did this story, considering how much each political party scored, in terms of gaining seats in the National Assembly, and then we made an assessment, to indicate the possible difficulties that some of these political parties face, in trying to regain their seats.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the political reporting category, and I have the honor to invite the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, CDS Njai, to join us on stage to help us present this award to the winner. And this category is sponsored by Honorable Fatoumata Jahumpa Sise in honor of her late father, I am Gaba Jahumpa. And congratulations to all the nominees under this category. And the winner will receive a certificate, a crystal, cash prize, and an additional gift from Fatoumata Jahumpa Sise.
Thank you very much. And the winner for this category is Keba Jefan.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. And our story is opposition may come back, but ruling MPP leads in parliamentary election. And why the entry stands out is the reporter's use of data visualization to tell the story is simply pioneering and exemplary for a country where data journalism is at its lowest. And story combines quantitative analysis and powerful narration, giving the reader an insightful understanding of the political landscape beyond the national elections. The impartial reporting with the political parties accorded substantial coverage in the piece, and accuracy established. And well done to all the nominees under this category. And Keba is receiving his gifts, certificate, crystal, cash prize, and a gift from FGC. Thank you very much, and thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, for helping us present that certificate. On to the next category, Cycle.
Yes, the next category for the nominee announcements is the business reporting category. And before we go further, Musa, if you're ready, please play us the video for the nominees of business reporting category.
The story that I submitted for the award has to do with the usage of CFA in the provincial villages of the Gambia. I went to Farafenni, and I've realized that the usage of CFA was rampant. There are some shops that you enter, and then they will tell you they are selling their goods with the CFA, not the Gambian Dalasi. So I tend to take that angle of the story. I engage many people, including National Assembly members. And one of the National Assembly members told me during the previous regime this was happening, but the government gave a strong statement in which they said nobody should use CFA for business in the Gambia. And then it was remedied. But after the change of government, this became more rampant than ever before.
Specific story that I've authored, it's about the revised budget, and the story goes on to highlight the bitter pills that the budget comes with, and it highlighted some of the decisions that the government has taken to revise the 2023 appropriation budget, which was passed in December 2022. So, and the story highlighted how this reversion of the budget, how would it affect other sectors of the economy, and such as the farming community, and also because we also understand that it comes up with an increment, a 30% increment of the salaries of civil servants. So it has been difficult for all of us, people who are not economists, to come to terms with these terms of GDP, debt to GDP ratio, then balance of payments. So these are some of the terms that you really have to understand, you really have to read and break it down at your own level, and ensure that your readers, the people who are going to read what you have, really digest what is actually in plan, because the economy it's very attached to the lives of the people.
My story on cryptocurrency came about when I had a conversation with an African American, and in a taxi from Westville to traffic light pipeline. So he was actually talking about cryptocurrency, but at the time I had little understanding of what cryptocurrency was, and that conversation sparked a curiosity in me to actually do more research about cryptocurrency and how it works. And from the research I realized that there are a lot of economic potentials in using cryptocurrency, because it is actually open to.
Those were the nominees for the business reporting category, and this category of course is sponsored by Unique Solutions in honor of Papa Yusuf Njai's late brother. It is only fair that we invite a representative from Unique Solutions to come and present this award. Who's the winner for this category?
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. The winner for the Business and Finance Report Award goes to Europe S.
Congratulations to Euro S-Bar. If you are here, please come on stage to receive the award. The 2023 Business Reporting category goes to Euro S-Bar. Oh, he's not here. He's away. All right, Euro is not here, but I mean, okay, the Vice President of Gambia Press Union will receive this on behalf of Euro S-Bar. Of course, like I said, this category was sponsored by Unique Solutions, and as a winner, Unique Solution will provide a laptop to Euro S-Bar, a smartphone, a power bank, certificate, cash, and a gift. And you may want to know why this story really stands out. It's a very interesting one. And the title of the story is Cryptocurrency. Is cryptocurrency real money? With a question mark. Gambian crypto enthusiast provides answers. Why this story actually stands out. Not your everyday finance and business reporting story carries the element of oddity as a news value. The journalist answers the curiosity question, what is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency, or sometimes Bitcoin, as novel financial terms, come under sharp focus at a time when a lot of Gambians and others in the world are duped by scammers, fraudsters, reporter beams light for the audience to understand true meaning of the digital coins as a medium of exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Yoro Esba, it's your winner for 2023 Business Reporting category. Fatmala,
all right, thank you very much, Sankule. The next category, migration and human trafficking.
This story has to do with migration and human trafficking. The part of the story that sheds light on the complexity of migration has to do with the exploitation of migrants to our own Gambian brothers. You get to realize that these people are exploited through our own people in those countries in the Middle East per se. And then they lace with the people on the ground to abuse these people and then violate their rights. The other part of it is the involvement of some traveling agencies. Reading the story, you get to realize that some of these traveling agencies don't only, operate in legal ways, but they operate, they do some underground works that are not in line with a legal, aspect in the country. So some of these people, they involve in trafficking these people in the Middle East, and then also giving them false promises, and then based on false pretense, etc. So this, reflects on societal actions, and then because people get to, know more about how these people face, the difficulties these people face, through the process and when they go on the ground. It has impact because people are aware about some of the legal actions of some of these traveling agencies. It also creates awareness of people knowing the involvement of some of our Gambian brothers in exploiting some of these migrants.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the migration and human trafficking category. And at this juncture, I have the honor to invite the Director of Press and Public Relations of the Office of the President, Madam Ami Bojang Sissohor, to join us on stage to help us present this award to the winner. And the winner will receive a certificate, crystal, cash amount, a gift, and dinner, again, by Spice Hub Chef Bojang, and that's our amazing brother. Thank you very much for the support. Thank you very much, ma'am, for helping us present this award.
Thank you very much, Ratu, and all of you. Good evening, everyone. I'm really touched that I'm presenting this one because I watched a program. I guess you already know what I'm talking about. Famara Bagi is the winner.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Famara Baji of GRTS. And the storyline is families of missing migrant boats struggling to find closure. And why the entry stands out is the actuality, sound on the tape with preceding narration adds a sense of poignancy to the story and introduces the viewer to what is at stake. Relevance and originality on the part of the reporter, highly audible, whilst the inserts from the giving family or grieving families make the story relatable. Good establishment shots, particularly the sea and beachfront, the framing techniques, different shots, especially close-ups, very good image quality, victims ordeal of the story, and that rescue efforts by the authorities very well captured. IOM information gives context to the migration question in the country in the void of any stereotypes or the usual blame game associated with migration reporting. Congratulations, Famara, well deserved. And Famara right now is receiving a certificate, crystal, cash amount, a gift, and dinner. Famara, please don't forget me, take me along. Dinner by Spice Hub, Chef Bojang. And thank you very much, ma'am, for helping us present this certificate. Over to you, Sankula, the next category.
Yes, the next category, we are going very, very fast. Apparently, we'll leave this place pretty soon. And the next, category is human rights reporting. Musa, please play us the videos.
investigation we've done into an abuse of children in an orphanage called Penny Appeal. There was a case in 2020 where children were abused, and the Ministry of Justice, having done the case, came out to say nothing happened. They issued a nollie. And so we investigated it to bring the case back to court. And after we investigated and published the story, the ministry now brought the case back to court, re-investigated it, and now it's, of course, we did shortfalls, but now it's at least back in court.
So this story was very difficult to write in the, in the fact that I had to see myself a lot in the story as a child that had to undergo child abuse myself. So first off, just getting myself to, sit down and put the words in writing was very, very difficult, because I had to try as much as possible to transfer the emotions that the victim, the survivor, went through into the story. So that was very difficult, because I knew what she felt, and I wanted the readers to know how it felt to be, raped, especially for her case. She was an adult when this thing happened. So society already frowns upon that. We already look at rape victims, in their teenage, young ages. So for someone that's an adult, it's not considered. Most times, it's not considered rape. So she had that fear that people would not believe her story, that she was actually raped. So I had to I had to calm her down. I had to assure her that her story was needed. Her story mattered, and then she needed to let it out and just
A colleague of mine, Esadu Jame, really approached me to make sure that we try to do a victim podcast, try to do advocacy, try to talk about issues that people are not talking about. And it was really a challenge for us initially, but we have made sure that we interview a lot of victims that did not have the opportunity to go to the TRRC to narrate their stories. We also make sure we reach to people in authority to ask questions regarding the implementation of the TRRC report and the government white paper. Unfortunately, we also try to make sure we reach to the National Human Rights Commission. And of course, they also, because they are the body responsible to supervise the implementation of the report.
All right, thank you very much. Those were the nominees for the human rights reporting. And this category is sponsored by Abubakar Tambedu and supported by the National Human Rights Commission. And the winner will go with a certificate, crystal, cash, assured by Mamadou Salou Jallo, tailoring, and a gift. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to welcome the chairman of the National Human Rights Commission of the Gambia, Emmanuel Diju. Welcome on the stage, sir. Please tell us who the winner for the human rights reporting is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jallo. And the winner for this category, Human Rights Reporting Award, goes to Mustafa K. Dabo.
Mustafa K. Dabo is the winner of the Human Rights Reporting category. And the award will be received by Keba Jafang, a colleague at Malagan. In case you're wondering why this Mustafa actually won this, the title of the story is Raped and Brutalized. Penny Appeal Orphans Long Await for No Justice. Why the story stands out? The reporter opens the eyes of the people to the often tangled web of business and charities that are merely facades of profit making on the backs of the needy and the vulnerable, in this case, offense. The entry, with the power of imagery and compelling storytelling, unravels the state of helplessness victims can go through and indifference on the part of the agents of the state when the wealthy and influential are perpetrators of a crime as heinous as rape. Far from one-sided and the ability to back claims with the evidence, reporter thoroughly explains the multiple actors' approach for answers, including the social welfare, who lent credence to reports of physical and psychological abuse of children at the center of the story. It fulfills the media's social responsibility function by bringing out all what was required for the Gambian state to deliver justice for dozens of abused kids and catalog these in several instances in the story. Despite the complicated nature of the case, the story is cutely put with the use of short sentences and simple English, well-researched and highly conformed to ethical standards, those well in holding the feet of the authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, apparently we'll have to take a pause. Family, what are we going to do next?
Thank you very much, Sankule. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 8th edition of the National Journalism Awards. It's been a marathon already. We will take a quick break and we will now invite Fatima Kebe, a young poet at the School of Journalism and Digital Media of the University of the Gambia, to grace us with their presence. And from there, we will continue with the rest of the categories. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our young poet, Fatima Kebe.
Press freedom, a fading wisdom. Press freedom, I said, a fading wisdom. You want to talk about it? Let's have a conversation. Press freedom is key. It was meant to unlock but in misery, it turned to a key. Freedom has become an enslaved key. Press freedom is easy to say, hard to achieve in a day, be controversial and you will pay. It is an era of do it simple and get away. So press freedom is just a myth, yet I am taxed to write on its importance. So dear press freedom, let's have a duet. One between the poet and the poem. See, I will write, then you recite what I write, parce que you are press freedom. Yai wahlula nehte daradula jot. But hold a moment, we've been exist. Good evening, everyone. Hello, so I'm going to recite a piece, and the title of the piece is Dara, but I had to start with press freedom because it's part of this year's theme. And yeah, I am Fatima Kebe. I'm a third-year journalism student at the University of the Gambia, and I'm the IPRO of my school. So I stand here to represent my school and to represent the poets and young journalists of this great country. So the piece reads, it is sadne, so amu dara duñ la tiye, dara du hew be ñu wax la dara cause you are considered to be dara. So deme dara sax ñu ne do dara di la yuhu be ngay bara, saraka su amé ñu ne ko yaay dara jël ko égal ko sa kaw duñ la musa jox dara. So it is sad. It is sad ne bes dina ñëw dara du des ci aduna bi ku fi am dara sax du ànd ak dara parce que yàlla du la yóbbu ak dara sudut loo ko liggéeyal kon aduna bi du dara. See, living and dying is what we are here for, sinning and repenting, forgiving and forgetting. Kon bul gis nit rek nga ne ko yow doo dara, bum la ñaan dara be nga ne ko amuloo dara, soo koy jox dara sax nam nekk ci sutura parce que bes dina ñëw doo ànd ak dara. So it is sad.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, the next category for these awards is legal affairs reporting. Please, nominees for the legal affairs reporting video, Musa.
So the story that I did is about the election petition filed by the United Democratic Party against the Independent Electoral Commission and against the incumbent president,
Adama Barrow. So there was a challenge after the elections results were declared, and the Supreme Court actually gave its verdict. And the verdict first, usually the Supreme Court will actually come up with a summary judgment, and then they will tell you the details will come later. And then after the summary, there were a lot of public outcry, especially people supporting the opposition party, who felt that actually they have a good ground, that the Supreme Court should not actually dismiss their case. So the story was provided an explanation as to what happened, why the Supreme Court dismissed the case, and what was actually the case of UDP, their weaknesses and strengths. So the case was actually basically about elections petition, and then I felt that it had an impact because many people who were having doubts actually came to understand the reason why. And in fact, later the United Democratic Party filed for a review, but actually they could not succeed. So it was a full explainer about the case, the elections petition.
Covering the courts is an important task for the news media because there is a great deal of public interest in what the courts do, particularly in criminal cases, and it also fulfills part of the watchdog functions of the media. So to report on legal issues, especially the complicated ones, it is important to get to know your viewers and readers first. And one of the methods I use as a journalist who regularly reports on legal issues is to use simple and clear language in my reporting. I always avoid using jargons and legal terms when possible, and instead use simple and clear language that is easy for the public to understand. We all know legal literacy can empower people to demand for justice and accountability. So reporting on legal issues will enable the members of society to fight for their rights and prevent corruption which are rapidly in the society. And I believe reporting on such issues may lead people from coming into conflict with the law.
And those were the nominees for the legal affairs reporting. And I would like to call on Uncle Madi Jabate to come on stage and please kindly present this award to the winner. Please welcome on stage Uncle Madi. Uncle Madi, tell us who is the legal reporter for this year.
Thank you. The winner for the Legal Affairs Reporting Award goes to Yankuba Jallow.
2023 Legal Reporting of the Year goes to Yankuba Jallow. Congratulations, Yankuba Jallow. And as the winner, Yankuba will go home with a certificate, a crystal, cash amount, of course, a mobile phone from AfriCell, a gift and dinner by Spice Hub, of course, Chef Bojang. And of course, you may be wondering why this story, Yankuba won this award. The title of this story reads, Supreme Court gives reason for striking out UDP election petition. Why this story stands out? A good lead, strong quotes, story well written, and legal technicalities aptly dissected by the reporter. Argument by both parties thoroughly captured, making the report rather very balanced and fair, which is important given the political undertones associated with the case. The depth of the information in the story makes it comprehensible even for the non-legal mind. Once again, congratulations to you, Yankuba Jallow. Famata, what's next?
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you. Next category, women's reporting category.
My story, it's about women law representation in decision-making process.
So in the story, what we did, we look at the National Assembly, the cabinet, and the local government councils, the number of women representation we have. So when you look at the numbers, you find that we are behind when it comes to meeting the 30% quota system. So we spoke to these women about their challenges, their challenges they face during their campaign and the support they have from their fellow women. We also talked to a political expert who told us about the challenges female candidates are facing when it comes to politics in the country. And we've also spoke to an activist who told us about women not supporting women when it comes to politics. The impact in the story. When you compare the 2023 local government elections and 2018 local government elections, you will see we have more women in 2023 local government than the previous one. Out of 300 and over 300 candidates, at least 54 of them were female, and out of that 54, at least 19 won the local government election.
There were these documents released by the Independent Electoral Commission. We all know they manage elections. So the document released that, that was released give information that men were more dominated in terms of, candidate list of various political parties. So obviously, I saw that, this is contradictory to what most political parties would always talk about. So what I realized is that there is a contradiction between, policies, between words of, expression at their own levels and also action, for example. So I realized that this is a problem, and then as journalists you look for problem and then report on them. So understanding that women issues are central, and then most of the political parties would use this to leverage their chances, because women they constitute the biggest population in terms of voting list. So it's important that they get that fair representation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the women's reporting category. And this is sponsored by Child Fund and supported by Fatoumata Jahumpa Ceesay. And we will now call on the family member to represent Fatoumata Jahumpa Ceesay on stage to help us present this award to the winner. And the winner will get a certificate, a crystal cash material by Kebekunda Textile. Of course, I'm wearing one. And a gift by Fatoumata Jahumpa Ceesay. Do we have a representative? All right, thank you very much for joining us on stage and help us present this award to the winner. And congratulations to all the nominees under this category.
Thank you. The winner goes to Keba Jifang.
All right, Keba Jifang, thank you very much. Keba Jifang is the winner. And the story Keba presented is Women Out-Muscled in National Assembly Race. And why this story, the entry stands out, is perfect example of political rhetoric versus reality. And the journalist was able, and Keba was able to bring out the facts through a detailed breakdown of real figures showing where each political party was in terms of female representation at their internal level in the April 9 National Assembly elections. And accountability and transparency question a true picture of gender equity or the lack of it in our national politics was provided by the reporter to the reader. And that is 16 females out of the total 166 candidates. Women still cheerleaders. Through this story, decades-long position of Gambian women in politics affirm once again in that when it comes to political participation, women remain relegated in the back burner in stark contrast to the principles in individual party manifestos, and the list goes on and on. Congratulations, Keba, well done, and congratulations to all the nominees under this category. And just to quickly mention, we just have 3 more categories, and the final one will be the Journalist of the Year. So over to you, Sankule.
Merci beaucoup, Famata. My French is not as bad as some of you think. I'm not bluffing. Next, of course, the next category for the nominees. This one is of quite interest to me, and it is the sports reporting category. Please, let's have the video for the nominees of sports category.
Sport is full of excitement, but it also has anxiety, and for us as sport reporters, I think we have a responsibility to put people in authority. We have to do the checks and balance, and sometimes all is not rosy. I think the story that I did, it was a very critical story, and I did with my colleague. I remember when we started it, regarding the field projects in the Gambia. Not many people appreciate what we were doing at the time. I remember in 2018 when the Gambia Football Federation, they went to Russia, and of course FIFA approved $1.68 million for different projects in the Gambia, and one of the key focus was the infrastructural projects. And unfortunately, when they came back to the Gambia, the promise was that this was a music that sounds in the ears of a lot of football fans and lovers, that all is going to be rosy. And fast forward, we have seen after making some pronouncement, work began, but in the end it stalled. So I took it as a responsibility that I have to make some findings with my colleague. And when we went to the zone president and talked to them, I was shocked to hear some of the narrations or the stories that they said. Interestingly, a project that was supposed to last for 6 months or not more than a year took almost 4 years. So when we start interviewing these zone presidents and of course try to talk to the contractor, I realized that there is a missing puzzle within the work frame that was supposed to be done. Then we try and did our utmost best, spoke to these zone presidents, and in the end they also outlined their frustration, and the story really made a big impact in the country, even though at some point a lot of people they name us as enemy of progress. Some don't appreciate what we do because they think we are critical of the people in authority, but in the end that wouldn't count much, because for us we are not responsible for what the authorities do. All we can do is to make sure what they said and what is what they are supposed to do, they do that.
This year I wrote about the role of the fans club during their support in the African Cup of Nations in 2021. I think the support they gave to the national team meant a lot, and it did really push the national team up to the quarterfinals, and they bring their style, and they even went toe-to-toe with the Senegalese fans club, despite the Gambia not reaching the final. Sometimes we often forgot the invaluable roles given by these people who come from all diverse walks of life within the Gambia, just to give one thing, and that is their whole support throughout the 90 minutes. It has been a tough year for the fans club, from mobilization and from mobilization with the insurgence of COVID and traveling to a war-torn zone, which was in Limbe. But they overcome all those hurdles and give their loudest voice. And I think they deserve a commendation. That's why I decided to write this topic, to uplift them and show that they are equally important as the government or the federation. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the nominees for the sports reporting category. And it is my pleasure to welcome the General Secretary of the Gambia Football Federation, Lamin Jasseh, to come on stage and present this award to the winner. Welcome on stage, Mr. Jasseh. Of course, the award is sponsored by the Gambia Football Federation, and I must say I'm very pleased that the GFF decided to sponsor this award, and the winner will go home with a certificate, a crystal cast, and a gift. So Jasseh, tell us the winner.
The winner is Mr. Lamin Fadera.
Lamin Del Fadera is the winner for the 2023 Sports Reporting Award. Congratulations to you, Lamin Del Fadera. Of course, Lamin Del Fadera's award is sponsored by the Gambia Football Federation. It's good to see that the story was very critical of the GFF, but they decided to sponsor the category. That's a good job. It shows we are not enemies. We are just partners in development. Well done, GFF. And the title of this story is The GFF and Its Field Projects, a tale of a dream project that turned to a nightmare. Why the story stands out? The storytelling approach. How the reporter introduces the reader to the genesis of the FIFA field projects. In-depth reporting blended with clarity on the FIFA Forward Program 2.0. Relevance of the story given the dire need for footballing infrastructure coupled with the current positive trajectory of sports in the country. A reporter gives a balanced and fair account of the views of the different parties involved in the story. That is the GFF, the FIFA, zone presidents, contractors, etc. A daring expose by the reporter, but more fundamentally asking the tough questions that bode well for transparency and accountability in an establishment as important as the Gambia Football Federation. Story triggers national discourse and public scrutiny on the state of the country's footballing ecosystem. Persistence, the story underlines journalistic persistence through the contacts with the FIFA and the local stakeholders. Once again, congratulations to you, Lamin Del Fadera. Fatmata, what's next on the announcement agenda?
Thank you very much, Sankule. And
it is a great pleasure that my security story, it's nominated. This story talks about the Fonyi crisis. It dwells about the fracas, the confrontation that happened between the rebels and the Senegalese soldiers stationed at the border line. So I believe that as journalists, we have a crucial role to upholding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of this country. And as a result, I think it wise that people have to know actually what transpired. And this, I talk about children. We all know that when the crisis emanated, young people were not able to access their schools. And some people were killed because of an alleged Senegalese military drone. So I involved the community themselves, victims' family, whose their children were killed. I also spoke with a security expert, and I think this story will really help in the case that it makes the community and even the government understand the genesis of the crisis.
Crisis that occurred in Fonyi between the year 2001 and year 2002. Fonyi turns to become a very fragile community after the change of government. And there were a lot of security lapses, especially around the borders. So when I went to Fonyi, we ran a story, several stories, but I realized that the people of Fonyi were not satisfied, especially those that are at the border. They were saying that they don't have any security around the borders. And then they were complaining, making a lot of allegations that the government has neglected them. So when I ran the story, I went to Fonyi itself, I went to the borderline villages and then interviewed them, and also went to the National Assembly member and then also other vibrant people in Fonyi to ask them about what kind of security lapses they were talking about. After running the story, I went again to see the impact of the story. And I've realized that there were few villages around the borders where there were security posts. Instead of going for patrol, the army decided to have a post there where they have armed forces sleeping there and then making sure that there is peace. This gives comfort to those residents of the community to even go back, because there were people who flew out of their villages due to threats that were posed by the MFDC separates. In fact, I read that story and I was told that the MFDC said they are no rebels, but they are separates. Yeah, so they want to be called rebels. So I read the story and I realized that all these villages were given security. They were provided with security.
Momentarily by Fatma Sise. But in the meantime, please indulge your presence. Technicians, please play us the nominees, the video for nominees of investigative journalism category.
The investigative journalism story that we've submitted has to do with the operation of a company called the Security Port at the airport, and we followed their application process, how they were awarded the contract, the processes that were flouted in awarding the contract, the nature of the contract and the flaws that probably, in our view, considered opinion are not of interest to the Gambian people. We've also raised some of the potential fraudulent instances where the company, in our considered opinion, may have been paid handsome at around $4.5 million, which by our considered opinion did not follow due process. So this was the story that we submitted for the investigative journalism category, and we've also exposed how our immigration could have been doing this, given they are implementing a similar project at the land borders, which they call the Migration Information and Data Analysis System. And so, yeah, and this is it. And in terms of the ethical issues, I mean, I'm not sure there was any unique ethical consideration that we had to face in doing this story.
Our story is about the central bank bribery scandal. One Ansumana Bah was able to put in $155 million of mutilated notes to the banker's bank. And he was able to do this by bribing bank officials of $11.1 million. And an investigation was launched thanks to our report by the bank itself, where, two officials were sent packing. The bank said in their investigation that, they failed to, do the due diligence in this aspect. The Gambia Police Force also launched a separate investigation. Initially, they said it is the work of scammers, but our further investigation proved otherwise. And the impact of this investigation was huge. It has resulted into recalling of all those mutilated banknotes that were circulating in the financial sector. And also the bank has put in, measures to avert what happened, in this scandal.
It is really pleasant to see, such stories being carried by Gambian journalists. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the nominees for the investigative journalism category. And I am honored to invite someone every young journalist in this country looks up to, and that is no other than the chief editor of the Standard newspaper, Lamin Cham. Sir, please welcome and stay to hand over this award to the winner, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to announce that the winner for the Investigative Reporting Award 2023 is Mustafa K. Dabo.
Mustafa K. Dabo is the winner for the investigative journalism for 2023. And once again, his colleague Keba Jefang from Malagan will receive the award on his behalf. And as winner, Mustafa will go home with a certificate, crystal, cars, and a gift. And some gifts rather. And if you may wonder why this story actually won this award, the title of the story is Inside the Secure Profit Deal. Why the story actually stands out as an investigative piece entry. Ticks all the boxes. This entry ticks all the boxes. Through the piece, the journalist plays to a great effect the media's watchdog role and advances the public's right to know in a country where red tape and the public sector stifles access to information, transparency, and accountability. Through authoritative reporting, the reporter pokes holes in the airport levy deal, from signing to implementation in an apparent violation of laws on tax, procurement, and public finance and public procurement irregularities. Stories exposes possible financial loss to the state in the region of more than $270 million in just 3 years. Impact of the story: the publication of the piece sent shockwaves within and outside of the country. Multiple players associated with the deal covered in the story, backed by paper trail. Once again, congratulations to Mustafa. Ladies and gentlemen, before Fatmata come and take on stage to announce the Journalist of the Year, the committee, the gender committee for of the Gambia Press Union would like to award a special award to 2 journalists for their outstanding work and commitment to the work of journalism, and that is Yusuf Taylor, aka Flex Dan, and Tabora Mane. Please welcome on stage. We'd like to call on Ma'am Yadikon Jai to come and present this awards to these 2 gentlemen, Yusuf Taylor and Tabora Mane, for their commitment to journalism. Special awards, of course, from the Gender Committee of the Gambia Press Union. Welcome on stage, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Flex Dan, Yusuf Taylor, aka Flex Dan. Congratulations, brother, for your commitment and dedication to journalism. A special awards from the committee. Congratulations. Next on stage is Tabora Mane. Tabora Mane, congratulations to you, Tabora, as well. A dedicated young man and a very gentle, hardworking man. Congratulations to you, Tabora. Special awards, of course, from the committee, Gambia Press Union. Thank you for recognizing the efforts of these gentlemen. Ma'am, thank you very much for coming on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the night. Farmata, let me stand in the corner and wait to hear who is the Journalist of the Year. I can't wait.
All right, Santule, the final.
Yes, Gambia comme ni leen ko waxee rek télé yu bari neen waaye bokkuñ façon Gambian Talents TV ay ndaw fa nekk nag di jël seen baga nag di naawal yëpp rek indi leen quality job kon nag Gambian Talents TV si kaw si kanam ñu nuyu la rek tey moom dañ gis mbaan bi Aïssatou different fanaa war na moo bokk si ñi nga xam ne sax dañoo dem di joxe seen li nga xam ne mooy seen liggéey su ko defee ñu mun leen a jox award because mu ngi liggéey neexut a dégga ku ko bugut a dégga yëpp you know Keks is doing very well fii si biir Gambia ak
waa xam nga loolu dëgg la waaye am na ñoo xam ne tamit you know the way award bi luñ ko dee defee moo nekk da nga dee apply you know te loolu daf dee tayalloo ñu bari as journalist instead union bi as a body mënoon nañoo nekk ñoo xam ne dañoo bugg di monitor the works of some of the works that journalists are doing from January to December. Loolu dafa tax ñu bari ñuy sawar di liggéey even though people are applying, yes, but then this should be a procedure boo xam ne boobu lañ war a gis in other countries tamit am na ñoo xam ne ñooñu noonu leen dee recognize nit yi
foofu da nga teg sa baaraan parce que bomba bi xasenu na kon nag yéen a dégg Aïssatou fu mu ko inee waaye rek comme ni mu ko waxee rek ñu bàyyi ki nga xam ne moo taxaw ni gentleman bi mu nuyu askan
waaw jërëjëf kontaan naa pour teew fii and thank you very much for the opportunity
ñu bàyyi la rek nga wax askan bi yow yaay kan ak si lan ngay yëngu
waaw man Keks la Keks Sane ko foog naa ne Kemesen Sane originally Keks Sane la and also I'm somebody ko xam ne so passionate about dissemination of information and tey ñu ngi ni fii foo xam ne we are celebrating people ñoo xam ne for the past 12 years les months liggéey nañ loo xam ne dissemination of information pour mun a inform the public loo xam ne loolu moo nekk di xew si dëkk bi wala outside the country so and they need to be recognized and they need to be celebrated and man tamit I come on to be part of them to celebrate them to show them that the work they have done is appreciated.
No gisee GPU Gambia Press Union seen 8th edition bi nga xam ne moom la gaay di def every year.
Well, this is something boo xam ne is good and we commend them de lu ñooy def ni because xam nga nit kuy liggéey tap ko si gannaawam bi is always important and this will motivate so many young people that are coming in ne dañu war a liggéey so that they will be recognized and so they have created a platform where they celebrate journalists for the past years yoo xam ne ñu ngi ko def so this is an opportunity boo xam ne will motivate young people and they have well organized and I've seen that there's increasement in terms of the awards that have been given prior to the previous years. So that shows you that GPU is at this innovating. They are coming up with so many innovation, and hopefully, next year we'll see another more innovation. And we commend them for a well-organized event like this.
But Keks ñu bari ñu ngi wax ne journalism Gambia mostly ñu bari den fa ne journalism is all about English language noo gisee loolu xanaa soose yi bokkun xanaa olof yi bokkun xanaa njaago yi bokkun you know all the time awards si ñoo gis ñuy joxe yëpp si ñi nga xam ne ñoo binala you know o ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo génne li nga xam ne mooy seen liggéey naka nga foogee ne noonu leen war a defee award bi ndax ñiti den war a apply ndax ñoom ñoo war a toog ñu xool ne dëgg am na benn Keks Sane boo xam ne mu ngi si gannaaw liggéey rek la moo dox.
Well, important la trop comme nu nga ko waxee soo demee soo waxee news wala nga wax kibaar amut laaka wala amut a boundary ko xam ne daal def they inform nit ndax si radio bi la ndax si télé bi la wala def they use in terms of even a theater in a form of theater to educate the people wala to disseminate information are all categorized and foog naa ne as we going on they will expand in terms of even capturing yeneen place yoo xam ne la nit yi ñu ngi ko def because dissemination of information moom amut boundary and man I believe in our national language more the key because so wholly the vast majority of the population if you have the percentages it's only 5% ñoo xam ne ñoo dee binda ñoo dee jànga but the 95% of the population ñoo xam ne la they are illiterate ñoo xam ne demuñ school so and they are dissemination of information ñu ko joxe si kalama suñ other languages so ñoom tamit they have to be recognized and I'm thinking that GPU with what they are hearing dinañ work on in terms of capturing every sector of our life.
Keks ñu bàyyi bum la rek because ñu ngi am benn gan but balaa ngay dem rek dina bàyyi ku nga wax ñu noo gisee nguuri président Adama Barrow compared to Jammeh when it comes to dissemination of information ndax mu ngi dem ndax Gambia demut.
Well, definitely dafa change to jamono bi because if you look at the past regime Barrow bum ñëwee very rare nga hear ne even su amee compared to what is happening in journalism in arrest for actually doing their work mu ngi am ba léegi better there much boo xam ne mu ne but if you were to compare him and Jammeh we'll say that in Barrow's regime at least there's a freedom of media and freedom of press compared to Yaya Jammeh.
loolu dëgg la bu ko defee rek Aïssatou ma bàyyi la ak ki nga xam ne nag fu mu nekk ni gis neen ne tey Keba Jeffang liggéey na bu baax a baax you like it or you don't like it Keba definitely du tey rek man dama ko dee wax remember bu ñoo start journalism ñu ngi nekk lu ndaw Keba yaa ngi nekk lu ndaw ba tey mu ngi nekk beneen key person si biir dëkk bi because of liggéeyam dinaa la bàyyi rek nga waxtaan ak moom bu ko defee rek du ñàkk askan bi ñu gën a bàyyi xel si kan mooy Keba Jeffang.
Thank you very much, Fatu. Wonderful viewers out there. As you're watching, we are still here to celebrate excellence in the field of journalism, and of course, I am here standing with the man himself, Keba Jefang, who's been recognized in 2 or 3 awards today, and we are saying congratulations to you for such an achievement. First of all, what motivated you in terms of writing those stories that you put out here today?
Problems motivated me because as journalists, you always look out for problems and then where they are happening. You look at it, do your research on them, how prevalent those problems are, how concerned are they to people who are affected by it. Yeah, so basically these are the motivation. And then, yeah, in terms of building the story up, from those problems, you do your research very well, and then, just to ascertain the root cause of those problems, and then involve people who really matter, expose people who are responsible for those problems. In this case, relating to the stories I won, especially the women one, I think the bigger problem is the, gender representation, and then how women have been taken for granted by political leadership, across the board, opposition and then political, those in governance, actually. You look at the political parties and then the way when they are campaigning, all the time, they always put forward this notion that, women need to be empowered. But then this is not a reflection of reality when you look at what is happening in their political parties, and then this manifested itself during the last parliamentary election. We saw. So based on those records, based on what I saw, the IEC data, indicating the number of women each political party actually put up, as compared to, the number of men they put up. So these are the statistics I use and then analyze the story. And then, yeah, I hope they all see themselves and then do better than mere words.
I mean, how can we change the dynamics of, women coming forward, taking leadership roles? It is important. It's not just, about men all the time, but also women coming out to take leadership roles.
Yeah, so I think my word would be that directed to women themselves. They should not see men like, for example, they are the providers. That's the basic thing. Go for it. If you are in a political party, you believe that, you have all the right, you have the competence actually. And then, yeah, so you should not be, look below, based on those things. You should not be discriminated. So if you see those things are happening, manifesting themselves, what you should do, look out, for best possible ways. If you feel that, setting up your own political party would give you the leadership you deserve, that's it. But then also, we must be also frank that, the world is very competitive today. And then, you look at media landscape, for example, you look at the political landscape of the country. What it requires for people to trust you, and then put you there is the competence, the product you'll be able to provide, not the gender you are, So I think that's it. These are the things women should work on, I'm sure, there are a number of women who have, ticked these boxes. Yeah, but then, you can always adjust. And then do better. Do not be reliant. Just be there. See yourself as an equal partner in development. And then, yeah, certainly you'll be there.
Today, in the mix of, old and young journalists here, we have seen young journalists who came out today to basically come out to support their fellow journalists. What is going to be your advice or your inspirational piece to young journalists out there who are basically, trying also to make name for themselves in the field of journalism?
Absolutely. You look at today, the award, the way it pans out, and then you look at the previous award, you see that, young people have been inspired already. That inspiration is there. It's in the young people, especially those coming in the field of journalism today. You look at the previous, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, you have one person dominating the award, but look at today, even though Mustafa remains the journalist of the year, but you look at the number of awards, it has reduced drastically compared to what he used to do, so that shows that, people are inspired, motivated, and then, of course, I'm sure, in years to come, he's going to fight head to head with people, especially young people who are coming in. And then I think Mustafa knows this. And then to those people who are also saying that, you people you are grown up, you should retire now. I saw a lot of references of that directed to Mustafa, myself, that, we spend a lot of media, we have a lot of experience, so we should also sit back. But then you look at the name that we are here. It's National Journalism Award, so it does not exclude anybody. So everybody. And then if people decide to, if Mustafa, for example, or I decide to sit back, then where is the competition? And then where is that bar, the bar that we set? It will absolutely go down. And then the thing about that, is that we are not doing justice to the excellence we say we are doing to journalism.
Again, the team of the night, and looking at the team of the night, and also looking at journalism in Jambe's days and Barrow's days, how will you differentiate these two regimes in terms of journalists going out there to do their work as it is expected of them?
Yeah, I think the president of GPU, my guy, Mohamed Esba, I think he put it well, that, he delved into those comparisons. And then, yeah, it caught my eye. Of course, there are impressions, but there are challenges, especially that is manifesting itself. There are threats coming from not only the government, not only from the senior government official, but even the president himself. There has been a lot of remarks that are really, really, really threatening. And then not only remarks, but even actions. Because remember, when we say GPU, for example, or journalism, we are talking about freedom of expression. Freedom of expression it has gone beyond, it's beyond journalism. It's about how people are able to utilize their right to speak out. So now you are threatening sources, and then, because we've seen a lot of that, we've seen people, newsmakers who are arrested, people who are just manifesting, who are just expressing their views, they got arrested. So some of these things are sending bad threat to, bad signal actually to freedom of expression we are enjoying. Yeah, but then to be truthful, things are better today than, during Jammeh's time. Yeah, that's the honest truth. But then are they guaranteed? No, because laws that Jammeh used to apply on us, they still remain. This government, they keep dragging their feet. They don't want to, reform those laws. So as we speak, those laws are here. They can be applied on any journalist or freedom of expression, person, anybody who is expressing his or her views. So that's the thing.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Wakai, gis ngeen loolu moo nekk Keba Jefang, one of the winners of 3 or 4 categories today here at the 8th National Journalism Awards. And of course, Fatou, it has been an amazing night, of course.
I said too.
The young is something very nice.
The guy hame on ma. Why ma walan rek ne I said too. Gambian talents la, media house Denbury why bokun fasong. Media every day danga wara di ligay na si different categories la neka, and then si different areas. Why it I said too dinala inil benan danan bo xamne dafa bëgg speak opinion am. Amna lu bari lo xamne jamono ji mu ko dente won waaye amut fu ko wan te Gambian talents mom we don't belong to nobody, we belong to li nga xamne nak moy the general public. Bisabal su ko defé rek ñu bayla nga waxtaan ak Aïssatou Colley ban language nga gëna feel comfortable, ñu dem Wolof, ñu dem English, ñu dem Mandinka, bo si bëgga.
I think we can go English.
No problem, Aïssatou, bu ko rek ngeen waxtaan ñu xool Gambia démb ak Gambia tey bu doon Aïssatou Colley la jamono yooyu noonu time bi yaa ngi jaaxle bu baax a baax bu ko defee rek nga xool suma caméra bi fële Aïssatou ni kon yaa ngi xalaat soo interviewé maasami sooy génn rek am benn police or soldat bu ne la busus let's go su ko defee ma bàyyi la rek nga waxtaan is a different Gambia.
Thank you very much, Fatou. Hence, we are here to celebrate our current and also all nit yi ñoo xam ne they in the field of journalism. Konka wax na ko ñu amal leen fi kenn koo xam ne tamit moom tamit béy na waaram su ñëwee si wàllum journalism field bi fii nii si Gambia bi in terms of disseminating information, in terms of a lot of things in the field of journalism. So I will just allow you to introduce yourself first before we go into the interview proper.
My name is Yaya Bibalde, the managing editor of the Alkamba Times. I'm a stakeholder in the news business for the Alkamba Times. I'm elated tonight to witness that highest echelon of awarding of excellence and creativity in Gambian journalism.
So today we are here to celebrate excellence and of course to recognize some of the work that is done by Gambian journalists, both young and old. We are here today to celebrate excellence. First off, how do you see this year's award ceremony?
I would start by saying hearty congratulations to all those who were shortlisted, because it's not an easy ride. To individual journalists, their editors, and their media houses for being so bold to submit their stories and be nominated based on what they think is being fit for what they were looking for from the panel of judges. And the second one, what I wanted to say would be, you filling out doesn't mean that you are not a winner. I will celebrate each and everyone on each category in as much as they were very, very bold for them to be here. That means a lot. Like I was just telling to my team at the Alcamba Times, the amount of stories that you have put in, the impact, the creativity it had on the people that you're serving, it means a lot. Whether you win an award, every day is an award winning for us, because you are reporting for people, for an audience who will able to quantify it, which impact your stories are doing for their life. You've been given with an award doesn't mean it really worth it, to be honest, but you not being given that document or certificates shouldn't discourage you. It should further challenge you to do more and more. Yeah.
So looking at today, the Alcamba Times, some of their reporters, Fatou Dahaba, MK himself, we are nominated today, but unfortunately, and Buba, and unfortunately they were not, awarded with the award. How prepared are you in terms of also next year, in terms of disseminating information on sports, politics, and investigative journalists, where MK himself was nominated?
I think we are not stopping only in the Gambian source. Year before last, one of our reporter, Keba Nsumane, was nominated in Ghana at the sub-regional one, but he couldn't attend it in person due to COVID. This year too, we are prepared to submit so many stories that had to do with politics, investigations, and even environmental reporting. Again, coming back to the work of the team that vetted these articles, it's not easy. Being a journalism scholar myself, I have published articles that have been vetted by renowned scholars in the media and communication fields. I know it's not an easy ride, but what I will say, tell to my colleague is, even though this will based on individual opinions, again, that individual opinion constitute the team opinion, what they feel about it. So we will go back and evaluate some of those next time. Even a story will work working on it for 3 months, just get the facts, work on the English, the content, and the impact side. We are ready for that. And bearing in mind that we are serving the ordinary Gambians as our ultimate. Yeah. Thank you.
So again, you're one of those that were out there, bringing out stories. Now you're behind the keyboards. Are we seeing Balde coming out again, writing amazing stories like he used to?
Perhaps in not now, but we can work on editorial stories where I think I will able to do more by expressing what I feel on the state of affairs in my own country. Yeah, to express it through writing in editorial, because perhaps other engagement wouldn't allow me to go in down on stories, but collectively with the team, I can help in picking stories and identifying rightful or suitable sources where they can get information from, and doing collectively that editing with them, which I have been doing for the past years with my team, even here, or even peer reviewing journalism students, their academic papers for master's level outside the Gambia, and even from the journalism school. Those who know me in the world of media and communications, I am happily dedicating my time for that. Yeah.
Lastly, we've seen journalism during Jambes days, and now we are in the Barroso regime. How will you distinguish these two regimes in terms of journalists going out there, disseminating information, serving as a watchdog to the government?
I have practiced journalism in the era of Jammeh from 2009 to 2014 in the Gambia, prior to leaving for my master's in journalism. I think it's a hell to work as a journalist in the Gambia, those eras. It's about bravery, passion, and being inclusive to what you are doing. Coming to now, seemingly, the environment is there. But if you ask my expert opinion, I will say a lot needs to be done so that we can reach that high echelon of what we are yearning for. And today's event significantly or simply wanted to promote that one by celebrating Gambian journalists, at least for the effort they are doing. If others can do it outside, in the Gambia as well, we should be able to do it. And I'm also saying, as an audience, and at the same time a media participant, that institutions like yours and others should keep on doing what you are doing, because it's one of the noble professions that you can do, whereby no one will dictate what you do. But as much as you feel that this is what you want to do, and for the sake of the people and public, go for it, so that at least the impact in terms of content production will be felt. Keep it up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So that is it from us here in Bakau. That is Sun Beach Hotel or Sunset Hotel, where we've just witnessed the 8th edition of the National Journalism Award, and it was a pleasure of being here today with my colleague Fatu Samba. Till we come you in your way next time for another amazing National Journalism Award. It's going to be a bye from us, but then I am hearing Fatu is telling me that she's here coming, but then we are wrapping up from now. And of course, to thank our entire team headed by Musa Jata, and of course Lamin Sise, Adam Sow, Babu Jaha, and of course Bintan Jai for being here today with us, and then be giving you all the images that you seeing.
Yes jërëjëf mbokk yi comme ni ngeen ko gisee ñoo ko ubbi waaye ñoo koy tëj gis ngeen ko fu mu nekk nii ñëpp a ngi dem waaye Gambian Talents TV ñun nii rek leen koo defalal saa su ne dinañ leen indi lépp loo xam ne mu ngi xew fii si biir réew mi su ko defee rek ngeen koy gis waaye bu boobaa rek ma wax caméraman bi di nga turn round su ko defee ñu gis li nga xam ne moo nekk suma team bi si liggéey bu rafet bi nga xam ne moom la gaay di def please turn around camera bi please su ko defee gaay gis suma team bi naka la gaay hard working ne naka la gaay buggee li nga xam ne mooy liggéey bi nga xam ne moom la gaay di def definitely Gambian Talents TV then am a powerful team then am team members yoo xam ne definitely with zero support bi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko am amun support si li nga xam ne moom la ñoo def waaye ñi nga xam ne ñoo ñuy seetaan yéen seen support leen am waaye suma team bi they doing very well very well with zero budget kenn supportut ñu kenn sponsor wut ñu ku ñu def li nga xam ne moo nekk programme bi o ñu def lii waaye déedéet suma team bi xooloon si loolu noonu yëpp xooloon si dara lan leen si xool moo nekk ndax yéen a ngi jot li nga xam ne moom ngeen bugga ak ndax ni ngeen ko buggee tamit
ku yoddu sa xat te quality Jasna ñoo yor seen cumbukaay tur day uyu borom Jasna pire soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality Jasna your number one stop shop. Ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garme yi ndaxte quality Jasna amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala poos abaaya yu yiiw waaye it amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice white fàttewuñ fa diw yi ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality Jasna amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay cuuraay yu neex house spray ak bépp xeetu baax pour seen biir néeg dama ne atum ren jii ku sa jëkkër mere ku ne yow la neex ndaxte Quality Jasna ñëw na si dëkk bi pour defar sëy yi make-up artist yi bàyyi leen gannaaw ñu ngi leen fa amal ay make-up product yu quality waxu leen léegi nii foofa sa Westfield jàkkaarloog monument bi wala nga jokkoo Quality Jasna si 250 01 24 ak Quality Jasna taaral sa bopp taaral sa néeg waaye it bégal sa alaaji aas